This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Very, 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 Mickey, 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 Fishy, Fishy!
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
X out and go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
Give me a name.
like him.
Who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like him.
In the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
And we are live here on another edition of the Voices of Wrestling Flagship podcast. I'm Rich Craich, alongside, as always, the king of banter, Mr. Joe Lanza. Joe, what's happening?
Not much. Just in my seat with a massive erection and a 3-hour show ahead.
3-hour show ahead. Yeah, this is a monumental day for this show
Because of my massive erection.
Because of your massive erection. Yeah, it's I'm out of nowhere. I'm so glad you mentioned your massive erection, Joe, because it does segue us perfectly into what I actually wanted to start the show with. It's almost like you did that on purpose, but I know it's you did make it like a very odd. I don't know if that came across on the live feed, but you made a very creaky chair noise, and the chair that you're in, I don't think I've ever heard it before, so it may be weighed down by something.
I had to make room for my massive erection.
Because I've like, we've done this show with you many times, and of course we've heard the ball cock, Joe's ball cock, a very famous segment as well. But yeah, I've never heard your chair creak like that. So yeah, something definitely is happening there. So
well, I leaned back.
Okay, yeah, just to kind of. But you probably do that a lot, though, right? Or no?
Well, maybe it needs a little WD-40 or something.
Maybe,
right?
yeah, it might need something like
well,
that.
Well, hold on. Shh. Be quiet. Let me do the lean back. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Quiet. Did you hear it or no?
It's a little rickety. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think you need to get something going there. Some
chair's in rough shape.
Some lube or something. Yeah, you know.
Some lube for my massive erection.
Well, whichever. Yeah, the same lube could probably be worked on for both. So we've been really blue lately. What is going on with these first hours?
Well, listen, I always wonder what a new listener is going to think when they're greeted with, I'm sitting here with a massive erection. But of course, that's a send-up on the famous Tom Phillips text message.
So this is a classic Voice of Wrestling. I don't have the exact date in front of me because I'm not that type of person that like keeps a log very well of these episodes and stuff. I probably should, but I kind of enjoy when other people do that work for me, so it's nice. But a very famous episode of the Voice of Wrestling Flagship podcast came, I believe this would have been, I'm trying to find the exact date, I believe it was sometime around February 2017, if anybody wants to go back. This news article I'm looking at right now says February 25th. 2017, so 2 days before my birthday. So a nice birthday gift here from Tom Phillips that he gave us, the infamous Tom Phillips sexting, which led us to talk about Sex Rollins. I meant to say Sex Rollins, Seth Rollins and his sexting, as well as Katsuyori Shibata's sexting, and then us kind of breaking down their very different skills and pretty relative to the wrestling skills as well. Shibata nailed it. Shibata was awesome. It was chappin'. What was the exact? Do you remember the exact line that he said?
Well, he seemed to be referring to sex throughout all of the sexting as chappin'.
Yes, correct.
But he really capped it off well at the end by dropping a chappin' fucking.
Oh, chappin' fucking. That was the one I was trying to remember.
Yeah. Chappin' fucking.
That's awesome. Yeah, he says, it's something like, because we got it through like, weird translations or whatever, but essentially it was, like you do, hey, let's do the chappin', yeah, and then at the end he just goes chappin' fucking. It's like, let's go. Like, how do you not?
Because through the whole thing, him and the lady, they're not really being explicit. Like, they're using code words.
They're trying to be cute about it.
They're being cutesy, right? But you could tell he's got some game. And then she says some cutesy thing, like, or whatever, and then he just drops the chappin' fucking, and he just leaves it at that. Even with the little apostrophes next to the letters, chappin' fucking, right? It's just so smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he got it, too. Like, he sealed the deal for sure, right?
Oh, he definitely banged. There's no question. And then Rollins was just so awful with the sexting. Did you know that it's still to this day, there are lines that he used in that sexting that are running jokes in my house between me and my wife. Because I showed her his sexting, and I was like, you want to see the world's worst sexting? Because I, of course, am a tremendous sexter, as you would imagine. I mean, very descriptive, tremendous wording. I said, you want to see the worst sexting you've ever seen in your life? She goes, sure, I would love to see the worst sexting I've ever seen in my life. So I showed her the Seth Rollins sexting, and there's one line from that sexting that I still use to this day. I'll send it to her randomly during the day when she's at work, or I'll say it when we're about, to get down for some trademark Lanza action just to break the tension and make everybody laugh. It's when he says to the girl, I am sure you can please me quite well.
It sounds like a bot. Yeah, it's like, I'm sure you can please me quite well.
I am sure you can please me quite well.
There is nothing less sexy than that line right there.
How could you send that to someone of the opposite sex with a straight face and expect them to take you seriously at that point? Like, if that's if you're joking around,
if there's like a wink and nudge, if there's like a wink emoji afterwards or whatever, even I think you need to do it in person. That tone cannot come across well on text unless you know that person well. You know what I mean? Unless you definitely know them well, which could potentially be the case with Seth, but it wasn't, because if the whole tone of the thing was way off.
Yeah, if you read the whole conversation, that's definitely not what that was all about. He like meant that as a sexy line. It just makes your skin crawl.
Yeah, I hate it.
Like,
I hate it so much.
It's such a horrible
it doesn't make me want to have sex. You know what I mean? Like, I get like less interested in sex hearing Seth Rollins say that line. I mean, that is an incredible all time. I mean, that definitely. That's one that you definitely say to like kind of ease the mood a little bit. You know what I mean? To kind of get them laughing a little bit. Why? Because that's the key. I mean, I'm a big fan of that. The joking around and having some fun.
Oh, you use humor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta when it's with me. I mean, geez, you're not gonna get
Wow, very self-deprecating.
Not to get to Kobashi over here, so you gotta for the Stalker Ishikawa of sex over here. So
you're the the Stalker Ichikawa of sex. I love it. That's a new thing now. You just created a new thing.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
How'd you not think of that in 10 years? The Stalker Ichikawa of sex. That's so good.
Is it? I don't know if it's that good.
That's so good.
Yeah. No, I know.
Come on. You know that's a thing now.
That's a thing. It's fine. I'll own it.
The listeners are going to love that. Yeah, but no, I will text that to TLB on occasion, at least once a month. I'm sure you can please me quite well. And many laughs are had. It's just a terrible, terrible line.
All-time bad one. And in the middle of it all, so you had Shibata who just nails it with Chap and fucking. He seals the deal. Seth, I forget who this was. I forget if this was this Zara that we were talking about here? Is this the days of Zara, or this was somebody else, right?
I don't think it was Zara. I think. Oh, it was it Zara?
I don't remember. Yeah. So I cannot attest to him sealing the deal with this particular woman.
It really doesn't matter who he was sexting with. It's just a line that makes your skin crawl. Absolutely. It doesn't really matter who he was sending it to.
And then in between all that, we had, and it was a magnificent episode because we were able to break down all three of these men who had all had sexting issues right around the same time, which is nice that everyone's kind of realized it was good. It was like an inflection point for everybody to look in the mirror and go like, we need to be a little less reckless with this. And now Snapchat exists, so it made it a little bit easier for these guys to, I'm sure the sexting has not stopped, Joe. The sexting is still going on, but they're not in Instagram DMs or stuff like that. It's a little bit more discreet these days. But in the midst of it, we had Tom Phillips, who at that time I think was SmackDown commentator. This is post NXT for sure. He was definitely on the main roster. I want to say it was SmackDown. He bounced around a bunch, but I want to say it was SmackDown. And he then this came out. Some woman then put up a screenshot of this sexting that comes from Tom Phillips, and it's a very disturbing picture of Tom Phillips. If you want to ever look it up, just look up Tom Phillips dirty messages to Instagram user is basically the one I found. It's from wrestling-online.com. So it says, oops, Tom Phillips dirty messages to Instagram user published. So if you want to find it, you can find it there. So it's a very disturbing photo of Tom Phillips looking down at his phone, wearing Beats by Dre headphones and kind of staring weirdly at the phone while he takes a shot on his camera. And the girl responds, ha ha ha, wink emoji. So he's like, okay, I got it. She's laughing, she's winking, things are going well. Then he says, quote, Joe, quote, I am in my seat with a massive erection, period. And a 4 hours flight ahead. I'm going to face fuck the shit out of you.
And thus, face fuck Phillips
There
was
you go.
born.
People always ask, where did the face fuck? And we don't. One of the things with the bits on this show, there's a lot of times on our Discord or on Twitter, people say, what are the bits? What's this bit? I don't understand this bit. And you and I don't really like, we kind of say, hey, look, you'll learn it eventually. We don't want to do a show. We don't want to be WWE where we hit you over the head every single week with every single bit that we do. Some bits, they just happen. You hear them. You might not know what it is, but you'll catch up eventually. Either you'll figure it out on your own. You'll look it up. We'll reveal it at some point. But yeah, we always get constantly. Anytime we mention Tom Phillips, we say face fuck Phillips, and people always say they call him fuckface Phillips, and that is not what we call him. We call him face fuck Phillips, not fuckface Phillips.
Correct.
And people say, what is the origin of that? Where does that come from, or whatever? And we always kind of keep it secret. People find out eventually. But there you go. For people that have been asking, quote, I'm going to face fuck the shit out of you is the line. And then that's all we know about the sexting. That potentially ends there. I forgot about this part too on the screenshot here that the woman sends, quote, this is why I don't trust people. Without my friends, I never would have known that a high-profile WWE commentator who was talking to me and wanted to get together is engaged. I had zero idea, and I couldn't be more sorry to the girl involved. You deserve better than this. Apparently, nobody is faithful anymore. At TV's Tom, I guess that was his Instagram account at that point. TV's Tom, hashtag WWE, hashtag SmackDown, hashtag Tom Phillips, hashtag NXT, hashtag wrestling.
Listen, if he wasn't engaged, he was undoubtedly going to get some. I think we could read between the lines there. That's how we broke it down the first time.
I think so too, yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for the guy from that perspective. Like, this isn't like a speaking out Me Too situation. This was all consensual. It looked like they were on the path to getting it on. And then she found out that he was creeping on his fiance, and she rightfully got annoyed by that. I still don't know how I feel about her going public with it. I don't know how I feel about that part of it. Getting mad at him, cutting it off, calling him a piece of shit, informing the fiance, all varying degrees of fine. But going public, I don't know. From that perspective, because here's the other thing too. We have no idea what kind of arrangement Tom Phillips had with his fiance. We don't know. I mean, we see it all the time with celebrities and athletes. Sometimes they get the pass, Rich. Sometimes they have the pass. And then, this girl puts this all out there, and maybe she unnecessarily embarrassed both of them, both Tom Phillips and the fiance. I don't know. Did he end up marrying that girl or what? I
don't think so. I think that was unfortunately the end of the relationship. I don't know. I don't know for certain, but yeah, I don't think he had the pass in this case.
I guess forget everything I said.
I could be wrong. Again, I don't remember. That was many, many years ago, and I don't really care about the relationship status of wrestlers. Some people love that shit. I don't like. Yeah. I'll mention somebody in there. I'm like, oh yeah, her girlfriend. They're like, no, they broke up. And I'm like, oh okay, I don't know. All right, cool. Like,
yeah, you hit me with one of them last week with Janela and Brandy Lauren.
Yeah, I found that out because I said something. People were like, oh, just so you know, they broke up. I'm like, oh, all right. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then you passed it along to me, like you gave me the
right.
Just so you know, they broke up, and then I felt like.
Well, you apparently were like 5 weeks behind or whatever. Yeah, it's like people know about the day after. No, they're done. Like,
you know what it is, because people are on all of the Instagrams and they're on all the social media, and we're not. We're just strictly Twitter, which we don't even want to be on. So they follow all these wrestlers on all this shit, and then they follow the clues. Like, if these people have each other blocked, or they're not liking each other's posts anymore, and then they do their detective work, and they figure out that they're not together anymore.
Yeah, there's no photos. The dogs are a good way to tell too. I have discovered that. Like, you'll see, a wrestling couple, and they're like, "Oh, we adopted this dog," or whatever, and then one party you never see the dog again, and then the other party you do see the dog again. You're like, "Oh, all right." Like, yeah, I think I get what's going on here. Yeah, the cutesy, pool pictures. Everyone's got their Florida pools, they like screened in pools. All of a sudden, it's just one person in the pool. It's usually the woman. I'm not really following the male Instagrams all that often, but yeah, usually the woman is now in the pool by herself, and you're like, oh man, I don't know. This could be it. So dogs are a good indication, as well as pools and who's in the pool with them. So
yeah, I just don't have the time or energy to do detective work on who people are dating or not dating anymore. But I mean, all right, okay. Maybe Phillips didn't have the pass. Hey, look, undoubtedly, No, wasn't he supposed to get married in like a couple days?
Yeah, it was like not that long after that he was supposed to get married, which is a rough go for sure. Yeah, you might want to just keep your nose clean for, I don't know, a month or two, pal. But
we're just having a little fun with fuckface Phillips. But here's the thing. I don't have a problem with his sexting technique. It's a little in your face, with no pun intended. It's a little graphic, but she clearly was okay with that style of sexting. So I don't read his sex and get creeped out or feel like he doesn't have any game the way that I did with Seth Rollins. It comes across his sexting style, at least with Missy the tattooed girl here, is graphic yet playful. Is how it comes across. Graphic yet playful. I gotta be honest, it's pretty close to my sexting style. You know, not that the listeners. I'm sure Rich is cringing at me describing my sexting style.
Well, no, what I'm actually doing is doing a little bit of research here. I don't know if we ever had these follow-ups, but WrestlingNews.co, thankfully, and Raj Giri of Wrestling Inc. actually reached out to the woman that was involved here, and she gives a little bit of background into this. So obviously this is one side of the tale, but here's what she says, and this is again from February 28th, 2017, when this all happened. So the reason we're talking about this is Phillips got canned today, so that's why we're getting back around here, in case you're wondering what the hell's going on
cares
here.
about that.
Quote, she said that it started out after she commented on one of his Instagram posts, and he later reached out to her via DM. The conversation started innocently, then they began to flirt with each other. She said that Phillips told her that he was, quote, single, and also, quote, living the dream.
Oh, bad boy, Tom.
Bad boy.
Bad boy, Tom. You weren't single, Tom.
Yeah, you could just say, I got a fiance, but she lets me do it. You know what I mean? Like that, I think,
Yeah.
But anyway, she also noted that she knew of him because she is a wrestling fan, and her friends were the ones that found out he was engaged. Up until the day she found out, they had been talking almost every day via text message and FaceTime. So apparently he had been reprimanded by WWE on Thursday. She says, quote, on Thursday he called me and said he had just been reprimanded by WWE Human Resources because he had been speaking to me the whole time on his company cell phone.
Tom, these are rookie mistakes. You never use the company phone.
Company cell phone.
You don't use the company phone, Tom.
Yeah,
don't use the company phone. You don't use the company laptop. This is first day stuff.
Right. You don't even use the home address. Like you don't even use the hometown. Is that correct? Like
back in those days?
Yeah, those are the early. I mean, these are even pre-2017 Lanza days, where you would like get a hotel like 45 minutes away from your house.
Yeah, I don't want them tracking me down. Half the time they know my name. Are you kidding me? So you can't use the company phone and the company laptop. That's first day stuff. But I'm going to tell you what he was doing, though. I'm going to tell you what he was doing. He wasn't going to use his personal phone and personal laptop because the fiance could potentially see that stuff. She's never going to think to look on the company stuff because that's just boring company shit.
Right. Okay.
See, but she might get a hold of his phone, like, let me see your phone, So that's why he was doing that, but still a bad move. You either have to have a third burner if you're going to live this life, and it's a very stressful life, or you just got to bite the bullet, do it on your personal phone, and then block and delete everything every time you're going to be with your significant other. So there are cheating tips from Joe Lanza. Enjoy.
So she does say here, quote, apparently Phillips' fiance was tagged in memes, so she is well aware of what went down on this. So yeah, but we don't know again if she was aware of this or whatever. I don't remember the follow-up, but we do have additional sex here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for additional
sex. These are more flirts than sex, but either way.
They can still be broken down.
Exactly. So this is Tom's _TV or TV's _Tom wrote here. Quote, my hat's off to you. I don't have any tattoos, but I'm a massive fan of them. You have some beautiful art.
Yeah, he may or may not like tattoos, but you're going to say that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. So she says, good eye, man. He says, quote, and then there's the rest of you behind your arms. Wink.
See, he's trying to get things dirty already.
It's a little too early. Yeah. Hi. Oh, you have very nice tattoos. Oh, thank you. I'd really like to see your breasts. It's like, okay, hold on, pal. Like you got.
Well, here's the thing.
Ask about the tattoos a little bit more. Like, hey, where'd you get? What was your first tattoo? Like, where'd you get your first tattoo? What do they mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta. That's how I would do it, at least. But
Rich, I respect that strategy, but I respectfully disagree. I'm going to tell you why. This man's engaged. This is a random fan. If you think Missy the tattooed girl was his first rodeo with random fans,
you're true, right?
That he was hitting up in DMs on the gram, it's not. He wants to get right down to business because he's got to be efficient. He doesn't want to waste any more time with this girl than he has to. He wants to see if there's something there, and if there's not, then he wants to move on to the next one. That's his hustle here.
Okay, that's where me and Facefuck Phillips would disagree there. So all right, so this one is this one's cut off, so we don't know. But this is a text message. Quote, haha, I mean, based solely on photos, I am definitely attracted to you. I don't know. I never reach out social media because I worry it'll blow up in my face or get posted somewhere. Once I started talking to you, I was hooked. Now that's a line. He gives that to everybody, right?
He gives that line to every single girl.
That is in his notes app. Copy, paste, boom. Like, yeah, that.
Because what he's saying is, you're so special, I trust you.
Right. I would never do this with just a normal woman, but you are special. Yeah. So that's what he says. They're talking about where this is the last one that we get here. It's somewhere. He goes, quote, I love that area. Or no, sorry. She says, I love that area. I was at the live show there about a year or so ago. I found a really sweet bar by there that had such a great beer. I almost skipped your show. TV's _ Tom says, ha ha ha. Well, if there's a bar near your place, ...
Yeah. See, like I said, he just wants to see if this thing has some legs.
Yeah.
And he wants to know right away.
Dipping the toes in the water. Yeah. Dipping the toes in the water. He doesn't really want to get to know her all that. He's just kind of getting oh, there's a bar.
Honestly, I respect that.
Yeah.
And from the female's perspective, she probably respects that, because if she's interested in getting down, then she'll keep talking to him. If not, she's going to think she's a creep and she's just going to block him. So, you know what the intentions are. What I also like too is he's a ha 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 guy and not an LOL guy.
Yeah, he is ha ha ha. Yeah, he is a ha 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 guy.
I'm not an LOL guy either. I'm a ha 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 guy. And as you know, I have never sent an emoji that was not an eggplant.
That is true. Yeah.
So
earlier today, instead of sending me the thumbs up emoji, you just said thumbs up to me. So
correct. I am not an emoji guy. The only emoji I have ever sent is the eggplant, which I send to TLB frequently. That's not true. I've also sent her in the following sequence. What's the fruit people use for the ass deep? The peach.
Oh, the peach. Yeah, the peach.
I send the peach, the eggplant, and then an exploding volcano in order sometimes to TLB. But other than that, I refuse to use emojis. So yes, I will spell it out rather than use the actual emoji. Listen, I got to be honest. I have no problem with Facefuck Phillips' technique. I think I can understand his train of thought. Look, cheating on the fiance you're going to marry in like 4 days. I don't know about that. I can't co-sign on that. But he kind of got to, the fact it went public, I'm still iffy on that, even though he was the cheater in this scenario. But look, I can't hate on the guy. It sucks that it's out there. But I'll be honest, if I were him, aside from the fact that, maybe his fiance broke up with him, maybe she didn't, I don't think the rest of this is all that embarrassing.
No, there's nothing to really be embarrassed about, which is nice. So
I don't think I'd be embarrassed about any of this if this were exact thing happened to me with these exact words, I wouldn't be embarrassed. Now, Seth Rollins should be humiliated.
Yes, he should.
His sexting is horrendous. Like, it's just horrible. And Shibata should be patting himself on the back, and we should all be copying his technique. So that's the 3 levels here.
But anyway, of course, as we're talking about this, is according to Fightful, Tom Phillips released by WWE today, and this actually follows up as well. Earlier in the week, Adnan Virk, who we had talked about when he arrived there all those many months ago, that he arrived in WWE. WWE announced that he and Virk he and WWE had agreed to part ways, mutually agreed to part ways. And he says, quote, "Thanks to WWE for a wonderful opportunity. The weekly travel along with my other jobs was a grind for me and my family, and grateful to everybody with the company, especially WWE Graves and Byron Saxon, for being such fantastic teammates." So we'll get to Phillips here in a second as we kind of break down his legacy, Joe, in WWE. But what about the Adnan Virk legacy that lasted all of 6 or 7 shows, I believe? Yeah.
So we may have TLB coming in to break down the Tom Phillips sexting from a women's perspective. Here we go.
Fantastic. Let's go. All right. I'm out. I'm done. You want to run the show here? I'll just kind of sit out.
So come on in. Here's TLB. Don't look at the screen yet. Remember that we talked about Seth Rollins' awful sexting, and he had that awful line, "I am sure you can please me quite well." which we laugh about all the time because of how awful it is and how it would just dry up your vagina in seconds and just, yeah. Okay. We have new wrestler sexting, which I want you to break down from a women's perspective. We already broke it down. Okay. This is Tom Phillips, WWE announcer. He sent the girl that
former
picture.
WWE announcer.
Former now. He sent the girl that picture of his face. He does look surprised. I think he's trying to be zany. Okay. Decent looking guy, right? Hard to tell.
That's a bad picture. He's a decent looking guy. Trust. Yeah, I think he's a decent looking guy.
You have to trust our opinion. He's a decent looking guy.
Okay.
So her response to his zany picture.
The laughing.
Mm-hmm. And a little wink. She's open for business. That's what that means, right?
Yeah.
So if a woman winks, she's open for business? Pretty much.
I don't know about unilaterally. Hold on a minute.
It's playful. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what he had to say. Go ahead and read that out loud.
Oh my god. I'm in my seat with a massive erection and a 4 hours flight ahead. Or to face fuck this shit out of you. I mean,
Loud. Go ahead.
okay, I like it.
Oh,
like it?
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
You approve.
Yeah, I mean, I like thinking about a massive erection. Stuck with it for 4 hours. That's fun. On a flight, he can't really,
Yeah.
unless he wants to, But, I mean, I'm thinking of him like, I don't know, is he on his way to her in this 4 hours? Probably not.
Presumably he's on. Well, here's the thing. Is it sexy that he's saying that you're giving him this 4 hour massive erection? Like, is that the part that's a turn? So,
well, I mean, sure. I mean, I guess I don't know what's been sent to him prior, but I mean, sure, that can be a turn on to think, oh, you have this.
yeah, massive erection. You can say, yeah. So this is good sexting. This is like,
I like it. He sounds confident. Like, I'm not asking if I'm going to face fuck you. I'm going to face fuck you.
yeah.
And I
All
like
right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. Now, I compared his sexting style of playful but a little dirty to my sexting style. Would you accurately describe that as my sexting style? Playful but a little dirty.
Yes.
That's generally my
That's a
sexting
reluctant yes. I'm not going to lie. That was a little reluctant.
Rich is saying that's a reluctant yes.
Well, it's not exactly your style. I mean, it's been a while since you sexted me.
Oh! Listen,
come on, Joe. What are you doing?
You used to send.
What?
Would you like to describe to the audience what happened to you last night?
Oh my god, that's embarrassing.
Well, listen,
only because it's personal.
you just buried me. You said I never sexed you. Anyway, back to Tom Phillips. Right.
Yeah, we're not worried about Joe. All right, back to that.
So this is similar to my sexting style, but not quite right on the nose.
Right, but it's definitely similar.
It's similar. Okay.
Especially in the whole like.
And you.
This is just two texts from him, but I would assume it's like he seems like he knows what he wants and he gets it, type of guy.
All right.
And that's the type of guy you kind of are. So.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I get some burials and I get some. Get the child out of here. This is not child appropriate. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. All right.
Bravo.
So there you go. We got the women's perspective on the face fuck Phillips sexting. How about that?
That was good. That was great.
A man who gets what he wants, Tom Phillips.
And Joe Lance, apparently, yeah.
Well,
But what we have heard though is that a cry for help there. A little more sexting would be nice.
Listen.
Getting old, Joe.
Listen. There's no need for the sexting when the real thing is right around the corner. Okay, so that's. But anyway, that was. I wanted to see what a real woman had to say. So. What were we talking about? Adnan Virk now?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess if you're ready to talk Adnan Virk,
I'm ready to talk about Adnan.
Let's talk about him. Okay. Well, he was there for 7 shows.
Do we have sexting from Adnan Virk?
I don't, but I don't know. Someone may. Someone might. I don't. I don't know if you do, but yeah, I'm sure Adnan Virk has sent a sext or two, right? I think he's got a wife and kids and stuff. I'm sure, Yeah,
I mean, I think Adnan Virk has probably sexted at some point. Yeah, but he won't be calling Raw anymore. That he won't.
No, he will not be calling Raw anymore. Yeah, after about 6 or 7 shows, yeah, he and WWE have mutually agreed to part ways. Now, the Adnan Virk thing we talked about came quick, though. We had like 1 or 2 shows where we talked about him, and he's there and gone. He will be in the lineage of the Rod Bartletts of the world, and you're just kind of these quick guys. He's even less than Adam Lee. Adam Lee, at least they tried out for like 6 or 7 months before they realized that was an absolute, abject failure. But yeah, Adnan Virk, one of the shortest runs, I'd say, of any announcer in WWE history here. A Nick Khan guy, his agent, gets him in here, a real sports guy, done stuff for Baseball Tonight, or done stuff for MLB Network, had done stuff for, I think, ESPN. He had done a bunch of real sports stuff. They get him in here, clearly not working out. If you listen to him, it was very, very bad from the beginning, which, and again, I mean, and we'll talk about it again, because there's another new guy coming in and another real sports guy coming in. It's a really tough job to be the lead announcer on Raw. It's a really tough job to be the lead announcer of any sport. We talk about it all the time. Play-by-play, nobody has any idea how hard play-by-play is. It is so hard to do. And that's why when you have guys like Lenny Leonard and you have guys like Ian Riccoboni who are so good at it, it's like you do not realize how good those people are and how leaps and bounds ahead of the game that they are. I mean, we talked about Jay in Dragongate as well, is a guy who it's taken him 7 or 8 months to really get it. Now he's good. Now he's very, very good and he figured it out, but it's not easy. It's very difficult. And now you have this guy who gets dropped in to the major network, the top show on the big, bet network and all that sort of stuff. And it's also this company where the entire time that you're supposed to do this commentary and you're a real sports guy calling matches with zombies, you now have Vince McMahon screaming in your ear the entire time. So it's no doubt in my mind that this, I'm not shocked that this only lasted 7 or 8 shows. That it didn't last a little longer, that they didn't try to maybe make it work. Is maybe a little surprising, but I gotta imagine it was, when they say mutually agree to part ways, who do you think was more leaning towards, hey, this is not working out, I need to go type stuff? Was it, you think he maybe made the call and said, you know what, let's call this a day. This is not going to work out.
No, because it came the same day as all those other corporate cuts, so I think they knew that he stunk and he was playing catch up and they got rid of him, because to me his statement was all face saving too. The way he said, I have a lot of jobs and the travel's hard. And I think that totally read to me like he was saving face. So, I just think they realized very quickly it was a mistake, and why invest more time into it? And I'm sure he didn't come cheap. That's the other thing.
Oh, no. Yeah, we should talk about that. I mean, this is a guy who, again, was a real sports guy, can get real sports jobs in a lot of different places. Had some issues along the way. The ESPN stuff was a bit of an issue when he's, leaking, reports to websites and different, the sport equivalent of dirt sheets or whatever. He's leaking stuff too. So he had his issues, but no, he's a guy that could definitely get. He's not a mark for the business that's going to just work here because this is his dream job. I mean, this is a job that I'm sure, he's a wrestling fan. He knew what this was, and this was a big deal to him. But yeah, like you said, he's not coming and working for, $100,000 a year. I mean, it was probably significantly more than that.
Yeah. So, that's my read on it, and I could be totally off. My read on it is they were just cutting their losses quickly. They realized he wasn't any good. And he put out that statement, which was a little bit of a face saver, but at the same time, he doesn't need that job. He'll have he's got plenty of other work, and he'll have plenty of other work. But then they turn around and they hire another real sports guy. So it's they hired.
So the name is Jimmy Smith. I have no idea who that is. I was hoping you had some idea. I know he did Bellator, and I think he did a little UFC, but obviously I'm the wrong person to ask about Bellator or UFC commentary, but are you familiar with Jimmy Smith in any way?
Yeah, so when he was calling Bellator many years ago, MMA fans loved him. And, at various points, he was considered among many hardcore MMA fans the best in the game. But he was an analyst. See, that's the thing. He's an analyst. He wasn't the play-by-play guy. When what he's going to be doing for WWE is presumably going to be play-by-play, which is a completely different animal on top of being pro wrestling versus a real sport. So who the fuck knows how he's going to be? As far as confidence behind the mic and all that, and knowing how to speak on, that shouldn't be a problem. But again, you're also adapting to this weird insulated universe that they have. And he's doing a different job. He's not an analyst. He's going to be doing play-by-play. So, obviously the odds aren't good for success. We have the history and the track record that shows that people with his background just do not succeed at this. So I have no reason to think that Jimmy Smith is going to do any better than a lot of these. Now look at Pat McAfee. he came in, but he's not doing play-by-play. He's working with Cole, and he's the analyst, so it's a little easier for him. He just has to be witty and funny and throw out the WWE-isms, and and he doesn't have to do the heavy lifting. Adnan Virk had to do the heavy lifting. Jimmy Smith, if he does play-by-play, is going to have to do the heavy lifting and do the majority of the talking. And it's not an easy job, even for people who are indoctrinated into that world, let alone people who are coming from the outside. So do I think Jimmy Smith is going to be successful? No, I do not think Jimmy Smith is going to be successful, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. He apparently is going to start pretty quickly here. So I guess they've been kind of getting him ready or grooming him or whatever the terminology would be that they use for their announcers. But they said the same thing about Virk as well, and he was an absolute failure, abject disaster from the beginning. Because you can call, like, if you're a good play-by-play guy, you can usually call any sort of sport, but this is a whole different animal. You know what I mean? Like, if you're, the guy that I know from who does White Sox games as the league guy, Jason Benetti. Jason Benetti on a daily basis will sometimes he'll do college football, then he'll go do baseball. That he can do basketball, college football, baseball, whatever the hell you need him to do. He can basically do it because he knows those sports. He's a good play-by-play guy. He can handle it. That's fine. Those are the elite guys that can do that. Your Ian Eagle is a guy that you talk about all the time. A guy who can do football and basketball and whatever you need him to do. Ian Eagle can do that. Many other guys can. Some guys can't. Some guys are just one sport or just one kind of specialty. But these commentators, Adnan Virks, your Jimmy Smith. I don't know a ton about Jimmy Smith and his background, but a lot of good play-by-play guys can just do most play-by-play. But wrestling is such a different animal. It's such a different animal because you're not calling what's in front of you. It'd be way easy just to go out there and kind of call what you're seeing and call people by their names and do all that sort of, but you can't do that. Everything's got to be done a certain way. You have to say WWE. You have to call Braun Strowman the monster among men. You have to, there's an inflection point. You can't say he because, God damn it, Vince is going to scream about pronouns and who are you talking about, pal? Like that sort of stuff. So it's so much more different than it is for doing, sports play-by-play, where largely, if you're good at the job, most sports networks are going to say, okay, well, you know what you're doing out there, so go ahead. Yeah, here's a few things. Here's your reads. Here's this sort of stuff. But just call football. It's football. Just learn the guys' names, learn the teams, know some of the plays, and you're good to go. Like, and that's not that hard of a learning curve. And once you do that a few times, you got it. It's just not the case with wrestling. It's just such a hard sport for anybody to learn. And the best people at their current style of commentary, which is absolute utter shit, by the way, for the record. Absolutely garbage, is the people that come up in developmental. Your Tom Phillips types, who I thought, and I guess that'll kind of transition us into Tom Phillips, as far as like that style and the commentary style that they want, of just kind of a guy with a rod up his ass who says everything perfectly and calls him the monster among men and talks about championship opportunities and never says he or she and always says the wrestler style. Like, Tom Phillips is like one of the best at that style. You know what I mean? Like of being able to nail that stupid style that they want their announcers to do. And now he's out as well. But yeah, it's just it's a tough game, man. I don't know how anybody does this thing for too long. It's hard.
I had just started watching 205 Live again, and it was notable to me how Phillips and Nigel McGuinness felt like the best crew that they have.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're good.
At least in that style. But I think Phillips was in trouble for other things, wasn't he? Didn't he get demoted for something?
Initially, he got sent away from Raw for Adnan to come in because they wanted Adnan to take over Raw, so Tom Phillips got kind of kicked down the line there. There's also a rumor that there was some issues for COVID protocols, particularly during WrestleMania weekend, that maybe that got him launched a little bit farther. But I don't know. He's a guy that, like, I don't know. I don't know exactly. But he kind of seems like a guy very similar to Jim Ross for many, many years as well, where they just really go out of their way to like make sure that he's like in bad spots or gets moved out or gets like, they just always wanted him in not a spot that he was in and move him around and bounce him and then always kind of went back to him and got back to him after a while. So I don't know, but there was that issue, the rumor that there were some COVID protocol issues, a few other issues potentially as well. But yeah, he's a guy that it seemed like they had kind of, they wave around all the time. They want him in here, and then they push him back, and they put him down, and all that sort of. So I don't know. I don't know exactly where he was in company standing at this time. So
he felt like the heir apparent at times.
He did. Yes. Yeah. He absolutely did.
So he definitely fell out of favor at some point. And I mean, because 205 Live, that's basically a death sentence. You're just
Yeah,
you may
next
as well not
next
be
to Vic
working for the
Joseph
company.
on NXT UK, it's about the lowest you can go, other than getting kicked off to the UK. So
I think 205 Live is the lowest job. I mean, I guess you could argue NXT UK, but I mean, 205 Live is just a nothing show. I don't know. Oddly, he's a guy where it's like, even though he's a system guy, I could see someone else giving him a shot if he wants to stay in wrestling. But he's totally a system guy, right? Like, he didn't come from anything else.
No, I think he got signed by them almost like right out of college.
Right out of college, right?
Like 2011, 2012. I mean, he was early NXT. I went back and watched a lot of the early takeovers, and it's all Tom Phillips. He's like the original guy until you get your Rich Brennan years and those sort of things. And then, he was, I think, by the main roster by, I don't know, 14 or 15, he was already main roster doing SmackDown, doing, stuff like that. And then, was the lead guy on Raw, the lead guy at WrestleMania, the lead guy, So, he by, 15, 16 was already made man and pretty much one of the top guys, one of the top commentators in that company already by that point. So
he'd have to unlearn everything they taught him because it would sound so weird to do that style of commentary for, fucking NWA or something. Or AEW, it would sound really bizarre using that kind of verbiage and just that cadence and the way that they talk. It's all being a system guy and knowing only that way. I think he might even struggle to adapt. To just being a normal human being or a normal broadcaster that just talks like a normal person.
And he's got like I think he went to, I forget, he went to some broadcast journalism school and did all that sort of stuff.
I'm sure he went to fucking Syracuse like the rest of them.
I think, hold on one sec. I had it up. I don't think he's Syracuse, but he's pretty, Penn State. He's a Penn State guy.
Oh, so. Penn State. All right.
Yeah, there you go. He's a Penn State guy. So like he knows how to do it. But then again, that was 10 years ago at this point after, being completely indoctrinated in this company and doing that style so perfectly and getting screamed at. Like you said, it might be a weird adjustment if he ended up doing it. But I could definitely, I'd give him a call if I was, an MLW or, any of these kind of lower companies. I'd see what his interest level is in doing it, because I think he's got a good voice. He clearly can take direction pretty well, and I don't know. Yeah, I think he'd maybe be at least somewhat worth a shot. But who knows? Who knows if he cares about wrestling anymore? As
discussed, good looking guy. Looks good on camera. TLB approved sexting technique.
Yeah. I always liked his NXT stuff. I think I talked about that when I did the old the Takeover show on Patreon. I thought he was really, really good in NXT for many, many years. And I think he is, the style of commentary is absolutely fucking unlistenable, horrendous. It's so bad on so many levels. But when there's a guy who does it okay, does that style okay, it's almost somewhat tolerable. And I'd say he is probably the most tolerable of the robots. Like Vic Joseph, I think is terrible. I cannot stand Vic Joseph at all. Michael Cole, I'm Jesus Christ, I'm very much over Michael Cole, and I'm trying to think who else are like the system play-by-play guys.
Well, a lot of them are gone. I mean, they come and go, and they cycle through them. But I mean, the Raw commentary teams is just a constant. What's the statistic? Isn't there
So Jack Beckman wrote a website wrote an article for the voiceswrestling.com today talking about, and this is before Tom Phillips got released, so now we can add another name to here. But he wrote about the revolving door of WWE commentary teams, especially Raw as well. And there's some shocking numbers that I didn't even realize until he noted it here. So he says, quote, since the beginning of 2018, WWE's Monday Night Raw has had 19 different commentary combinations. Since the beginning of 2018, 19 different commentary combinations. Raw averages a new commentary variation every 62 days, with a new talent making their commentary debut every 77 days. So now over the period of 2015 through January 2018, so kind of a comparable time period, Raw had 7 different commentary combinations with 7 unique commentators. So that's a rate of 1 new on-air talent every 156 days. So they pretty much cut that in half and went from 7 different commentary combinations from 2015 to all the way to 2018 to 19 since the beginning of 2018.
It's ridiculous.
That's insane. Like, and then somebody brought up like Dio Madden. I even forgot about the Dio Madden run. I was like, all right, Dio Madden. Like, that wasn't that long ago. That was like 6 months ago.
Well, it might have been longer than that, but because they had Brock Lesnar destroy him, and then everyone thought, okay, well, he's going to come back and they're gonna push him because he's gonna be in a program with Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Block Lesnar. That's the Lego version with Brock Lesnar, but that never happened.
Yeah, okay, sorry, the Dio Madden thing ended November 4th, 2019. So, sorry, it was a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, and then he was part of Retribution. You know, he's, what is he? Is he fucking Rusty Trombone? Who is he?
He is, he's Mace, I believe.
Cincinnati Bowtie,
Yeah.
whatever one he is.
He is Mace, yeah. Not Harlem World's Mace. We've already done that bit, but...
Teabag? He's not Teabag?
He's not Teabag, no, that's Dijakovic.
And that's not T-Bone, because T-Bone is WWE.
T-Bone is different, yeah.
NXT UK.
Absolutely.
Yeah, T-Bone.
Is he still there, T-Bone?
I don't know. I don't know if he was ever under contract. He was one of those guys where you weren't sure if he was under contract or not. Then he had a speaking out accusation, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he got caught in that, but his was a loose one, right? It wasn't
His was one that it didn't really get traction for whatever reason. I don't know. And then I don't know if he wrestled further. Why don't I just look this up, see if T-Bone's still around?
See what T-Bone's doing.
Tyson T-Bone. Let's see.
I forgot if I liked T-Bone. I don't think I did.
There's T-Bone from Worcestershire, UK. That's where the sauce is from, the steak sauce, Rich. Worcestershire. Yeah.
An entire nation is just screaming.
No, he's on the show every week.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Well, he was up until last month. I mean,
Tyson
he's
T-Bone, baby.
Oh, yeah, he's teaming with Primate. How could I forget? Primate and T-Bone.
Yes, how could we forget?
No, yeah, I should know that. Yeah, they're a fun tag team. Lost to Ilya Dragunov, lost to Amir Jordan. Then they teamed them up at Primate. They beat Danny Jones and Josh Morrell. And then they just lost a 6-man on April 29th to Gallus. Hey now. They defeated Eddie Dennis, Primate, and T-Bone.
Nothing.
Now are
eternal. Gallus is eternal, man. I love it. It's incredible.
Eddie Dennis, Primate, and T-Bone are a faction now, Rich. They're called Symbiosis.
Ooh, okay.
Symbiosis. So the T-Bone is most definitely under contract, employed, and his speaking out, I guess, went nowhere. Or we're erroneously accusing a man of a speaking out who didn't really get one because it feels like a million years ago, and who the hell knows. But T-Bone is still with NXT UK. That's the bottom line here. So
there you go. Yeah. But
I'm
looking at some of these Raw commentary teams, and it's we had the Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, Renee Young crew for a little while. We had Vic Joseph, Jerry Lawler, Dio Madden, then just Vic Joseph and Jerry Lawler, then Vic Joseph, Jerry Lawler, and Samoa Joe, then Tom Phillips, Jerry Lawler, and Byron Saxton, and then we had Dolph Ziggler for a little while, then we had MVP for a little while, then we had Adnan Virk, and now, we'll start next week with Jimmy Smith, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton on Raw's War. So,
yeah.
Insane. Austin Aries. Remember the Austin Aries Raw commentary run? Because I don't.
I do. I'm dancing.
I kind of am too. It's a great. The thing about it, it works. It's a good song. You know what I mean? It's a good wrestling theme.
I'm tapping my foot. I'm standing up now. I'm grooving a little.
I just don't know why those guys have this song. It just doesn't make any sense. So.
And the problem is they suck so bad.
They're
like
so
it's just
bad. Yeah, you attribute this song to just like fucking horrendous wrestling coming up. So
you hear this song and there's a 2-star special coming. You know, and unfortunately, if it's Joe copy, it's going to be 40 minutes long. So that's the problem. That's enough of the Gallus thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I gotta get back to watching NXT UK. There's some stuff going on.
Oh, you're into Symbiosis, huh?
I think so. Yeah, I've always been a big Eddie Dennis guy. I saw Tyler Bate reappeared in the world, so he's winning titles.
Can I tell you a dirty little secret?
Yeah, what do you got?
It's the best brand.
The best brand.
Listen,
okay, it's better.
If you're just looking for wrestling,
yeah.
Here's the thing: 205 Live. I've been catching up on it. Good wrestling, but the problem is, it's impossible to care about any of it. NXT UK at least will give you some storylines and some stuff to sink your teeth into, and then also you get pretty decent wrestling. It's probably the best brand.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get back into it.
I'm not telling you it's going to knock your socks off, but it's, You get a little Tyler Bate winning the.
Yeah, that got me interested again. I'm a big Tyler Bate guy, so that.
What do you win, the Beans and Toast Cup or
I
whatever?
think something like that. Yeah, some fucking trophy or some shit. So that's.
And then Walter wrestles like twice a year.
Yeah, right. Whatever he decides he wants to. Yeah, that's.
But it's always incredible when he does. I mean, and you got whatever Ben Carter's name is now on the show, and Noam Dar has that interview. Well, it's WWE, so they call them shows. He has a show, Rich. It's always entertaining. He's a very clever guy.
Yeah, some people in the chat room bringing up some A Kid, Pretty Deadly. I kind of like Pretty Deadly as well.
Yeah,
fun little team. So
you're on an island there, but okay.
No, I mean in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that they're actually good, but they're like a fun, dorky, like a good old classic like wrestling team. They look the part.
They get the old speaking out push because it's like, all right, those guys
There's nobody left, so.
And then everybody got fired. And
are you guys sex pest? No, all right, good enough.
Let's push. Pretty Deadly. So that's what happened there. This is where if I knew we were going to do NXT UK, I'd make up a name and see if anyone noticed that it was a made up person. But now I just gave away the bit, so I can't do it.
Right.
And I would definitely give him the first name Gareth. It would be like
Gareth Sweeney or something like that.
It would be Gareth Littlepenny or something, And
you tell me that he's Eddie Denny's like Eddie Dennis's manager or whatever, and I would be like, oh, all right, cool. You're like, hey, this is this guy.
Yeah.
Gareth's. What would you call him again?
I should have said, Symbiosis is Eddie Dennis, Primate T-Bone, and Gareth Littlepenny.
right. Yeah.
And you would have just went with it.
Like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've never heard of that guy.
Gareth Littlepenny. Okay, what's he from? Fight Club Pro? Okay, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, sure. Gareth Littlepenny. You wouldn't have known the difference. Admit it. You would
no, hell no. Oh, God, no. God, no.
Yeah, I could have ran that for weeks. I could have been like, "Oh, Rich, you got to check out Gareth."
It kind of sounds like it's a good name for like a kind of a shit-eating manager. You know what I mean? Like a little pesky guy that comes in and comes in, holds the trips a guy, comes in, gives Eddie Dennis the brass knucks or something like that. Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah, and because everyone in the UK is named either Gareth or Liam. That's how it is in my head, like Gareth or Liam. So it'd be like Gareth Littlepenny or Liam something or other, and you wouldn't know. You would be none the wiser.
None the wiser.
In fact, I would just call him Liam none the wiser, and you would think that was like a real person. Like Rich, Gareth Littlepenny and Liam none the wiser had an absolute banger on NXT UK this week. You would totally buy that.
I would. It sound good. Yeah, you could describe a whole match to me. I think I could find a And the best part is you would say, he was like a Fight Club Pro guy or whatever. The What Culture, he was in What Culture Pro Wrestling a few times. I think he had a few shots there. Like, oh, okay,
just make some shit up. Yeah,
right. Because there was like 1,000 in the peak of the real UK. Boom. There was like 27 different companies that would all run shows, and it's like, who the fuck are these guys? What the hell?
I tell you, he wrestled in the cave against Spike Trevette.
Right, the Cave Company. Yeah, what was the Cave Company called?
I don't fucking know. But you'd be like, oh, yeah. You'd pretend you saw the match.
Right,
like,
right. Oh, yeah, it was a good match.
Oh, Spike Trevette. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's tremendous. Yeah, in the cave. Yeah. Just to get the.
I like that Cave Company.
Along,
that Cave Company was cool. I don't know if they. Well, they probably weren't cool. I should retract that. I don't know if the Cave Company was cool. They may have been terrible. The aesthetics of the Cave Company, I enjoyed. I don't know.
You can't co-sign anyone.
No, because they were all sex pests. Yeah.
You got it. Because you're not sure. You got it. So it's like I was tugging the collar before when I was like, should I be talking about so? But it's like because you never really know. But so that's I don't know what the hell we were talking about Adnan Virk, I think.
Yeah,
Adnan Virk, commentary teams.
Tom Phillips, yeah, they're rotating. So Jimmy Smith will be the next guy that gets screamed at by Vince and realizes it's not going to work. So do you think that this is probably a Nick Khan thing, right? To try to get these real sports guys in.
No, we know it is. Yeah.
So when is he going to learn that this is not going to work?
I mean, Virk, I believe he was Virk's agent at one point.
He was.
So
I did mention that.
That's a brother deal, So it's like there's that factor too. But I see what he's trying to do. I mean, put legitimate voices in the booths and everything, but it's just not going to work. Not unless he can convince Vince that the style of production needs to go. And you're not ever winning that fight.
No, and especially not this week. And we didn't have this plan to talk, but the big cuts that happened in WWE this week. They consolidated a bunch of divisions and all that sort of stuff. WrestleNomics Radio will probably break it down this week, much better than we will. So make sure you check that out, WrestleNomics Radio, on the Voice of Wrestling podcast network. But they did a lot of consolidating, a lot of entire divisions, EVPs, all this stuff, kind of consolidated and cut and whatever. And out of the rubble is Kevin Dunn, who now is in charge of even more divisions than he was before. The new media or digital media division, I forget exactly what the name of it was, got rolled into the normal production side. And at the end of the day, Kevin Dunn still won out. Now he has even more duties than he did before. So yeah, if Nikon thinks that he is going to get in there and say, hey, this production style sucks, it's just not going to. I mean, today is not the day to fight that fight, and I don't think he's going to win that fight right away because Kevin Dunn just has too much power in there, and Vince is so beholden to Kevin Dunn that, yeah, I don't think that that's changing right away. So I guess he's going to try with these guys for a little while, but he can bust into the office and say, we got to change these things, but I just, it's not, right now it's not going to happen.
How fresh would the show sound if they just talked like humans?
Dude, yeah.
It's, but anyway, that's a conversation definitely for another day.
So that is Adnan Virk and Tom Phillips. So good chance to relive the Facefuck Phillips sexting saga. So there we go with that. All right, let's we'll get into the other parts of the show here. We're going to talk about NWA, their pay-per-view that's coming up not this week but next week, and it's been a very weird build to say the least to this NWA When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view. We have the latest on Will Ospreay as well, what we've heard, what we know. Will has been pretty active on Twitter as well, so things are a little different than they were last week, I think, but at least we can talk about what we know and what we've heard about. Dragongate's King of Gate is coming up. They're kind of wrapping up on June 3rd. We've caught up. We're going to talk about that as well. And we also are going to preview AEW's Double or Nothing, but we do want to let you know, and we have heard a lot of questions, hey, are you guys doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this? We are doing an instant reaction live immediately following Double or Nothing on Sunday. So to do that, patreon.com/voices of wrestling or voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon. $10 tier gets you that instant reaction. So immediately following the show, 5 to 10 minutes after the show, that's usually when we go live. We are going to go live and give our instant reactions to AEW Double or Nothing, review every single match, give our ratings, do all that sort of stuff. And that will be the only opportunity you can have to listen to the entire Double or Nothing review. We might talk about it on the next Flagship, a little bit. We'll probably kind of maybe generalize it or whatever. But if you want to hear us go match by match, ratings, reactions, all that sort of stuff, that is going to happen Sunday night on Instant Reaction Live. And, well, AEW pay-per-views have been very, very fruitful for the Instant Reaction Lives because we have had a lot to talk about. We've had the bad explosions. We did it after Blood and Guts, so we had the bad finish there. We've had a lot to talk about with AEW pay-per-views and AEW major shows over the last few months, so this will be another interesting as well. But AEW Double or Nothing, Instant Reaction Live, immediately following the show on Sunday, patreon.com/voices of wrestling. So,
hey, got some breaking news.
Oh, go ahead.
From Impact Wrestling. This is interesting. I want to know what you think about this. So Josh Alexander will defend the X Division title against TJP in the first ever 60-minute Iron Man match in Impact history next week. But that's not really the news. Here's the bit. The majority of the match will take place on Before the Impact, with the match concluding after the start of Impact proper.
Okay,
so
hold on, I'm confused.
Okay, so before Impact airs, they have Before the Impact. It's like a pre-game show.
Yes, of course I know about that. Yes.
So
you don't have to explain
before
the Impact with me, Joe. I'm well aware of Before the Impact. Yeah, but go ahead. But explain. Wow. But once again, explain it for the listeners that might not know about Before the Impact.
The show called Before the Impact is a pre-game show
of course.
For Impact.
Yeah.
Hence the name
Before the Impact. Got it. Okay.
Right. So the match is going to start on Before the Impact at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. It's going to end on Impact. It's going to run across both shows. Do you understand now?
Got it. Yeah.
What do you think of that? I mean,
I don't hate it. It's going to take a lot of education to let people know when it's on, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take a lot of, okay, it's live now. It's that's the only thing that I'm a little hesitant about is that it's a little bit easier to say, hey, on Impact, there's going to be an Iron Man match, or there's going to be a 60-minute match, or whatever. Are they using the Iron Man terminology? Because that makes your skin crawl always when non-WWE companies use WWE lineage or kind of verbiage for stuff.
Yeah, they're calling it a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Right, well,
now, I don't. Is that a WWE?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
okay. No one else ever used that Iron Man match. Okay, what is that style of match called before WWE? Because that match has been done before WWE.
Yeah, I don't know if they did. Did they have like you get X amount of pins in X amount of time?
So that's a good point. Did WWE invent that match?
I think they may have, yeah.
Because now I'm thinking about it, and I know that...
of course, you had 60-minute matches, but yeah, you never had here's the timer. You now have the opportunity to get X amount of pinfalls in that timer, and then whoever has the most wins. I think that's a creation of them. I do.
Okay. For whatever reason, it doesn't bother me as much as saying Fatal 4-Way.
Okay, that's fair.
Or Triple Threat. I hate when companies say that.
The Triple Threat, yeah.
It drives me up the wall. But anyway, there'll be Josh Alexander and GJP. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com says that a lot of people in the company are putting this match over huge to me in the last week. So it sounds like it's a good match too. So interesting. I guess they don't want to burn a whole hour of Impact.
Yeah, because that's tough. Like, you can do that if they are, like, SmackDown did it famously with Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle and stuff. But I forget if they're actually good ratings draws when they do that. Or, Kenny and Pac did it with the 30-minute style. Because they were 30 minutes, right? Those guys? Or they didn't go the whole hour, right?
Who?
Kenny Omega and Pac. That was just 30.
Yeah, what did they call it?
Oh, that's a good... I don't know. What did they call it?
They call it an Iron Man match. I'm not positive that's a WWE thing. But at the same time, I can't think of an example before WWE did it. So I don't know the answer.
I'm trying to find out if they called it exactly. Yeah, I don't know what they called it exactly. But all right, so I don't hate it. I get why they're doing it, but I like it. It's just gonna be interesting. You're gonna have to try to educate people on it, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. Because what might happen with a lot of people is they don't know that it's going to be on before the Impact or whatever. So they tune into Impact and then they're going to see the conclusion of it, which presumably will be pretty cool and be pretty awesome. And then it's up to them to say, hey, if you missed the first part of this match, like go to X and watch the rest of it or something like that. So that's not the worst strategy. So the people that really know about it and are going to watch it will tune in before the Impact and see it through, know that Beyond the Impact is a thing that actually exists, which I definitely knew before today. So I guess this is actually a good idea to educate me as well that this thing even exists. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's kind of a cool strategy, and I'm interested to see how successful it is. The match, sounds awesome. It's fucking Alexander and TJP. That sounds great.
AEW called it an Iron Man match.
Okay.
So, that's the breaking news. What do we got next?
All right, let's go to...
let's stay with AEW.
Double or Nothing. Yeah, as I said, patreon.com/Voice of Wrestling. Instant reaction live immediately after the show. So let's big picture thoughts about Double or Nothing as we kind of get before we go match by match here and preview it and give our predictions, all that sort of stuff. What's your excitement level about Double or Nothing? Because to me, like the card I think looks really, really good, and I've liked a lot of the recent TV, but for some reason this. I don't know if it's that it's Memorial Day weekend. There's a lot of other stuff going on. The weather's finally starting to turn nice for me. Like I don't know if I'm in the frame of mind. The COVID's kind of, most of my friends are vaccinated and stuff. My family's all vaccinated. It's just, for whatever reason, I'm not as anticipating of this pay-per-view as I have been for some of their other ones. But what's your read on it?
It looks like a good show on paper. I think very clearly the Stadium Stampede is the drawing match on the show. That's going to determine how well the show does or does not do. But I do think that there's other strong matches on it. I think Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston is a strong match with a strong build. I think that Omega, Cassidy, and Pac, to me, feels like somewhere between the third or fourth hottest match or best built match in the show, because Cody Rhodes and Ogogo has a lot of steam, I think. And, you also have Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker, so it's a deep show, but it doesn't have that one match, right? It doesn't have that one match that I have circled where I'm like, this is going to be a great match of the year, contender level match. But in terms of a show, I think it'll be successful because it has a lot of matches that have been well built, and I think the Stadium Stampede is going to be a big draw. So from that perspective, and then the three-way for the world title, I think you can get away with doing a 3-way in a lesser world title match when you have such a stacked show otherwise.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's kind of the idea there.
No, for sure. On paper, like in my initial, as I was kind of getting ready for the show, thinking, Double or Nothing's already this weekend. Like, I think it'll be fine. But yeah, and then I'm reading the card. I'm like, this card's fucking rules. Like, it's a really good card on paper with a lot of really good matches and matches that I'm really much anticipating. I think it's more of a me thing that I'm not as excited, just because for the first time in a year and a half or whatever, it's like people want to do stuff and they can do stuff and I can go do things. And the weather's it's one of those things where I kind of feel for the first time in a very long time that, sitting down and watching a pay-per-view or a wrestling show on a Saturday or Sunday for the first time in a long time feels like a burden, as opposed to oh my God, I finally have something to do. Yay, it's going to be great to kind of sit down and watch this thing. So it's probably more of an environmental factor on my end than it really is on AEW, because I do think this card is really good though. And when it comes, I'm obviously on Sunday going to be excited about it and going to enjoy it. It's just for the first time in a while. Yeah, it's these shows have been like, oh my God, thankfully there's something to watch this weekend. Thankfully there's something to do this weekend. And this is the first one that feels like, man, I have other stuff I could do instead of watching this. But obviously,
they could use a great pay-per-view. The pay-per-views have been spotty. And I generally enjoy the TV. I pretty much enjoy the TV every week. There hasn't been an episode of TV in a long time that I thought was a bad episode of TV. And in fact, I think most of them are really good. But the pay-per-views have definitely been spotty. So they could use a really good pay-per-view that has mostly good stuff from top to bottom. And I think that they can pace them a little bit better. I think the pay-per-views are a little too long sometimes. So we'll see. Yes, what can I do for you, boy? What do you got? You got a new Spider-Man?
Ooh.
Wow, he's silver and blue. I don't even know anything about this kind of Spider-Man.
I don't know anything about that, yeah.
I'm sure there's some comic nerds in the chat room that would know why Spider-Man is silver and blue. But yeah, that's cool. Wow, where did you get that?
From the store.
From the store? What, do you got money? How you get money? Who got it for you?
Who got me money when I went to Shooter?
Oh, they took you to the store?
They went to Bastrop today.
Okay, he has a cousin named Shooter, if that's not the most Texas thing you've ever heard in your life.
Is that his real name?
So, yeah, the kid's name is really Shooter. I swear to God.
It's not Uminu. It's.
Don't worry, it gets mocked in this house relentlessly.
That's a tough.
So they bought
that
you,
poor kid. I mean, that kid's got to be an adult and be named Shooter.
Oh,
like that.
So each pick out something. They got squishies.
Okay.
They got this.
So Shooter's mommy bought you that?
No, my mom.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow, very nice. So you're playing with that now?
he wants to get talked.
Well, it's 8:30. It's way past your bedtime.
He told me when to tell you good night.
All right. Well, come here. All right. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi, Amelia. Why are you whispering? You're too shy? He's not shy. What did you get at the store?
Say hi.
You want to say hi? Hi, are you going to bed now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me a hug.
Hi.
Oh, you want to say hi to listeners? Go ahead, say hi again.
Hi.
Okay, you're not going to hear him say nothing back, but, I'm sure they all appreciate that.
Very sweet. This girl's very smart. So when they, my mom drove the Bastrop.
Yeah.
She goes, we went the same way when we went to Avery's. We practically went to Avery's house.
Yeah, they know. She's smart.
She
Yeah.
knows the entire routine.
Yeah, she does a nice job. She's on her first summer. She goes to school in August. This is your first summer vacation. This is the final countdown. After this summer, that's it. Now you're going to be in school for 13 years. You realize that, right?
And she's every time. So excited.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'll change. That'll change quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, excited for now. We'll see. Yeah. Wait till that first Thursday when she's like, how many days in a row do I have to do this? I got to wake up? Yeah. All right, well. All right, guys. All right, hit the bricks. Come on. That's enough of this. I got stuff to talk about. All right.
Shooter. Oh, my
Shooter.
God.
Yeah, the kid's name is Shooter. It's awful,
God.
isn't it?
Like, I get like a nickname. You can't saddle your kid with the name of Shooter.
Yeah, it's
his whole life, his name is Shooter now. You know what I mean?
It is so Texas.
That's real bad.
Yeah. It's a bad name. It really is.
Shooter. Some fucking teacher's gonna have to go Shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna think it's normal out here, though. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
if the poor kid, like if that kid's father gets transferred to like New York or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like he has to be called Shooter, like in New Jersey or something like that. Forget it, you know. But out here, you know. But yeah, no, I rip that name relentlessly every time like it comes up. They're gonna come over. She has to tell me like, you can't make fun of Shooter. They're gonna get. I'm like, how can I not? That's like you're putting it on a team.
What's this kid like? I hate to make fun of a child, but he's kind of like, does the name fit?
Well, he's like a toddler, so it's hard to tell.
Oh,
like he's their age. He's still like dopey, you know.
Is
like,
he? Well, he's dopey, but all kids are dopey. So that's
like,
fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're like he's still like 4 years. He's like 3 or 4.
Right.
It's hard to tell, you know, if he's a putz or not. But it's like, so what's with the blue and silver Spider-Man? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I was trying to look it up. I think it's from the Spider-Man animated series. At one point, he wore blue and silver. But
all right, no, you know,
I'm not the guy to ask, unfortunately, about that. So.
I was hoping it'd be yellow and purple, like Arachnaman.
Yeah, Arachnaman. Yeah, that we could talk about. Yeah, I'm not a dork, Joe. I don't know about Spider-Man, but I can tell you about Brad Armstrong's run as Arachnid. Yeah.
Yes.
After he was, because he did a bunch there during that was during the weird we don't know what to do with Brad Armstrong era.
That was like his whole career. So there was
right. He was
Fantasia,
right.
The Freebird member.
Yeah.
He was Candyman, Brad Armstrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Later on Nitro, he was like a hippie.
Yeah, Buzzkill. Yeah. He was BA. A lot going on there. He was BA, I think, when he was in the No Limit Soldiers, brief No Limit Soldiers run for BA Brad Armstrong.
Yeah. I think I just prefer Lightning Express teaming with Tim Warner.
Yeah.
That's I don't need all the. Well, Arachnaman was cool. I can't lie.
Was it?
No, I liked Arachnaman. Shout out Aaron Quinn. Arachnaman was fantastic. You know, I liked it. But the other stuff.
Bad Street, wasn't he just Bad Street at one point? Bad Street.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, the masked member of the Freebirds. That was kind of cool, actually. I'm talking myself into all these Brad Armstrong.
The Arachnaman was okay. It had to end because they called, right? Like Marvel had to be like, "Hey, you guys can't just have a Spider-Man character on your show."
Probably.
And like you're owned by like a media company. Like we're gonna find out. Like we're gonna, you know.
Yeah.
You can do a Spider-Man gimmick on the indies and probably get away with it for a while, but you can't. Turner can't like have on TBS every single, Saturday a Spider-Man character called Arachnaman. So.
Well, Rich, it's totally different. It's Arachnaman. And the outfit is
purple and yellow. Yeah, he's purple and yellow. Yeah.
Yes, instead of blue and red. So I don't know what you're trying to imply here, but it's completely different. But Candyman was awful. That one stunk.
That one was pretty bad, yeah. But Buzzkill was not much better either.
No, that's terrible too. So. Yeah.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them, we are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, clickgrainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right. Anyway, let's get to this Double or Nothing show. We'll break down it match by match here. Announced this week, and it's actually kind of relate to a topic that we're going to talk a little bit later about as well. The buy-in, Joe, and I will definitely be watching this buy-in. You always ask me, do I watch the pre-show? I will make it a mission to watch this pre-show because the buy-in NWA Women's Championship match, Serena Deeb versus Riho. That's a hell of a match just put on the buy-in there. I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Deeb is fantastic. She was so great against Red Velvet and coming off the injury. I mean, she was just tremendous. And I'm not the biggest Riho fan, but I think that these two could have
on paper, it looks like an awesome matchup. Yeah, it seems like the styles are going to be perfect for the two. Yeah, I hope they go out there and just absolutely kill it.
See, that's where I worry a little. I don't know if the styles are a good mix, but I always say that about Riho because I just see her as like, I don't know, 80 pounds, and I just, my issues with Riho.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that, but there have been matches where Riho has kind of won me over, but I think Deeb is elite. I mean, I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers going. So, and I like the aggressiveness against Red Velvet on TV last week. So, that's a really good pre-show match.
Yeah, so definitely be checking that one out, and we'll put a pin in that. So we mentioned the NWA Women's Championship match, put a pin in that. and we'll discuss it a little bit when we talk about the NWA pay-per-view coming up the
Yeah.
following week. But then you have AEW World Tag Team titles, as you said, the Young Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston, which I think has been a tremendous build. There's been some dorky stuff, Moxley and Kingston stealing the shoes and all that sort of stuff, but it's a Young Bucks match. It's probably going to be the actual opener of the show, and these guys are going to go out there for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever and fucking kill it. I mean, it's going to be a great match, and there's just no doubt in my mind that it's going to be great, and I think it's a really cool... I like the Moxley-Kingston team. I like the way to get Moxley kind of out of the main event mix right now, give him in the tag team title mix. The Young Bucks are the Young Bucks. They're incredible. Eddie Kingston's been very good in AEW so far, so I'm very much looking forward to this match, and I think on paper, one of my more anticipated matches of the entire show.
Yeah, I just think it's too soon for the Bucks to lose the titles. The timing doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no. I don't think they lose the titles here.
So I think Kingston has to lose here because you're not going to beat Moxley. But yeah, I think the build has been good. When Max Caster called Eddie Kingston, when he said Eddie Kingston looked like a box of Newports, I fucking lost it. I mean, I've never heard.
That was great. Yeah.
I've never heard a comparison that made no sense yet made all the sense in the world.
Yeah, because everybody got real big on the line about the your wife's calling me for oral sessions or whatever, which was a good line. But I'm with you. Then I was just like, that's a good. And then he did the box, the box of Newports, and I was like, oh my god,
you look like a box of Newports. I couldn't, but it's just so funny.
Yeah, for some reason it just works. Yeah.
It just works. It makes no sense, and it makes sense. But no, that should be great. And I heard Moxley on some media interview saying that, I got invited to a super kick party, but I'm just going to punch people in the face. So
I love it.
It's just, so the dynamic is good. And it sounds like Moxley and Kingston are going to be a team really moving forward because he's, I really think this is unsolicited idea for TK or whoever else. They should bring in this Slice Boogie as the pin eater for these. He would fit their aesthetic perfectly. He would go with Moxley and Kingston. He'd fit them like a T, and then he could get pinned in all these matches instead of Kingston. It'd be perfect. Slice Boogie, one of the few bright spots of this season of the NWA. But that's a guy that, I would have my eyes on, and he would fit. I have no idea if he has any personal connection to these two guys, but everyone's in a fucking faction or a unit already, so give them the third guy that could take all the losses.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about Moxley and Kingston is and especially Moxley, we saw it with Umino in New Japan, is like they seem very fatherly, like they can just kind of take you under their wing a little bit. Like they're like they're not the people that you want your kid to get with. Like you would hate. I think I wrote in a New Japan ebook a few years ago about Shooter Umino, like his mom is just, he's coming home a little bit later every single day. He starts wearing a leather jacket. You find a box of cigarettes in his his jeans pockets, and you wonder, what happened to my kid? He used to be so good. And then one day Moxley pulls up to the house and honks, and Umino runs out, and the mom just cries at her husband's shoulders. What happened to our kid? Like, but that's what I mean. Like the least father figure ever, but you could totally buy that. Like just little by little, they indoctrinate another guy into their group. Like you don't have to have a personal connection. You just needed them to. You just need a guy to think that Moxley and Kingston are cool, and then Moxley and Kingston to slowly but surely turn him into a dirtbag, and then it just kind of works. So, yeah. Next match here that I think I'm looking forward to, but I don't know. I need you to sell me on this one here a little bit. Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I'm interested to see what Sting does. I'm interested because Darby Allin is great. That's about it as far as this match. Scorpio and Ethan do nothing for me. Darby's probably going to take some hellacious bumps, but I think all of the intrigue in this match is what happens with Sting. What does he do? How do they kind of hide him in the ring, or do they hide him in the ring, or what happens? Because it's the first time he's going to be in the ring since that Seth Rollins match, right? All those many years ago that he was in the ring and took that buckle bomb that really did some damage. So
I don't think you have to hide him. I think he's looked good enough physically to get through a tag match like this, because Darby Allin is going to sell for 11 minutes and get his ass kicked. And all Sting is going to have to do is come in for a hot tag and clean house and maybe take a bump or two. I mean, I would put the flat back bump over under for Sting at 1.5. That would be the over under I would set for that. And I would play the under, honestly. I think he's going to come in, clean house on a hot tag, and I think he's shown that physically he can do that. and then you do whatever finish you're going to do. So I'm not really worried about it because Darby Allin is going to do all the heavy lifting in the match.
Right. I think, honestly, the structure that I have in my mind is exactly like you said. Darby starts the match out, gets his ass kicked for 10 minutes, hot tag to Sting. Sting can go in there and do the back elbow, the boom, 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 clothesline, stinger splash. So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could see it in your mind exactly. He might not even need to even take a bump, honestly.
I would take the under.
It could honestly be Darby does that entire thing. He tags Sting in. Like I said, boom, 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 comes in, lariat, back elbow, stinger splash, puts Scorpio in the death lock or whatever, and he taps, and that's it. You know, like you could totally buy that being the finish. Or, you know, he gets cut off or something like that, and if they want to have Scorpio and Ethan win. But it seems to me like the easy choice there is just have Sting, you know, get the pinfall. Or he sets up for Darby. You know, he does the stinger splash, tags Darby back in. Darby does, you know, his thing off the top rope with the skateboard or whatever, and then they get the pin that way. Seems like a reasonable thing too.
Well,
so
Sting put Scorpio Sky in the Scorpion Deathlock on TV, and Sky did the visual tap or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So things don't tend to be throwaway in this company. So I feel like they're gonna repeat that, and Sting may have him in that hold. But then I could see like Ethan Page maybe decking him from behind or something, setting up, you know, and then Sky pins him or something. But no matter what you do in terms of a finish, I don't think Sting is going to have to do enough to the point where I'm worried whether he can handle it or not. Because we've seen him go on big offensive flurries during brawls and things like that, and he's looked actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm really not concerned because I really think that the match structure we laid out, no matter what they do in terms of a finish, is something that he could easily handle. And that works best for Darby Allin anyway, selling for 10, 11, 12 minutes to set up a hot tag. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do in a tag match with him anyway. So from that perspective, because of this mix of people and the way I really don't have any concerns about Sting.
Do you have any concerns about this match? Stadium Stampede, Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. They have said, I think that people have been out there saying, oh, there's a lot of live aspects to this. It's not as much taped. We're going to be in front of fans, so obviously we can't just have it all be taped. It's going to be more serious. Where do you stand on Stadium Stampede? Because you very famously thought the prior year's one was pretty terrible. I thought it was a little bit better than you did, but I could take it or leave it. Where do you stand on this one? Are you excited about this one, or are you kind of cautiously pessimistic about it?
As long as nobody rides in on a fucking horse.
I had more issue with the Matt Hardy portion of that than the horse, but yeah, you are still seething a year later about the horse. So.
There are still times I think about Hangman Page coming in on that horse, and I'm just like, this is not fucking pro wrestling. No, this is not going to be that. They have emphasized in every promo that this is going to be a serious match which will then match the intensity of the feud. So that I'm not worried about. Tony Khan on, he always does the, what was it called? Unrestricted.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. The AEW
Shivani and yeah. He always does one right before the pay-per-views, and I haven't listened to all of it yet, but he was saying that, and of course he's a promoter, but he's saying there's going to, be they're going to do some special things in this match. It's going to be completely different than the last. And I believe them because they really are hammering that home. They have really wanted to make clear that this is not going to be shenanigans and comedy this time around. And it cannot be for this feud. It can't be. That'd be a total misstep and a misfire. So I'll give it a chance. If it's just going to be a brawl around the fucking Jaguar Stadium, I'll probably like that. At least on paper. So, we'll see. I've enjoyed. I think the promos have been out of this world in this feud. Whether it's MJF, I thought the thing in the restaurant last week, which could have went sideways, was awesome. They've even positioned Sean Spears as like this guy who's unstable, and everyone's kind of getting more character depth out of this now. And Jericho's promos have been just home runs every week. So, I mean, I have high hopes for this. I think this could be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit more anticipating this one. And like you said, they've been really hitting you over the head with, hey, this is going to be more serious. There's going to be live aspects of it. It's, we can't do what we did last year. Like, they've emphasized it too much. Internally, like you said, like with Tony Khan going on that podcast, MJF talking about it, Jericho's talked about it. Like,
even in the kayfabe, though.
Right. They've said, like, oh, no more fun and games. Like, this is going to be a brutal war between two. So if it's that, I'm in. Like, I'm all in if it's just these guys beating the fuck out of each other backstage. Or like, I think there's a way that you can do a lot of what they did with the prior Stadium Stampede, but not, avoid the horse or a man, being possessed or getting electrocuted, or like there's so many other things that you can do with it as well. So because I think the match structure itself is good and can be utilized. It's just a matter of doing it right. And I am a little hopeful for this one as well. And I'm glad you picked up on the same thing I did. It seems like the company itself is very much trying to tell you, hey, last year was last year, this is this year, and we have higher. There's a different plan for this year's Stadium Stampede, which is good to know. So we have an AEW TNT Championship match. Now, Miro, or as of this recording, he still has to defend the title against Dante Martin. So it could be either Miro or Dante Martin versus Lance Archer. So
Miro or Airwolf.
Right. So,
is he Airwolf or the other guy?
I don't know. I don't remember now actually which one Airwolf was, but yeah. So it's still. Gabe Sapolsky style here, where you can't. Darius Martin is Airwolf. Sorry, Darius Martin is Airwolf. So the other one.
What was Dante Martin? What was his gimmick?
I don't know, Dante Martin. I don't know. What was he?
Was
he something?
I think he was. Yeah. Didn't he have a mask too?
I don't know. I don't remember actually.
Dante Martin. He wasn't Dante Martin teaming with Airwolf. He was something. He was. You're going to make me look this up.
No, I honestly don't know. I don't remember who Dante Martin was.
So. Let's see. I'm trying to find the Angel Dorado.
Oh,
right?
okay. No.
Angel. Yes, Angel Dorado.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Dante Martin. Yeah. So, Airwolf and Angel Dorado. Yeah,
okay, there you go.
Top flight. Yeah, I mean, obviously Miro's going to squash him, and we're going to get Miro and Lance Archer. Right. But because the other guy's still hurt. Airwolf is still hurt. But, look, Miro obviously just won the title. I don't think it's impossible that Archer wins. I think he's going to be in line for a bit of a push as a babyface here. I'm not picking him to win the match, but I don't think it's a lock like a lot of people might think. So I could see Archer winning and then doing a program with Miro, or maybe they trade it back and forth or whatnot. But that's not my official pick. I do think Miro will come out of this with the title.
Yeah, I do too. And I think, like you're saying, I don't think it's impossible that Archer does it, but if I was betting, I would definitely go on Miro to win here. Just because, I think it's fresh. I think they're doing a really good job with him. Everything that I've seen from him, all the reviews and all the interviews, I should say, and all the tweets and all that sort of stuff. Miro's where we wanted him to be from the beginning too, and said he should be, and people can kind of retcon this and tell us, oh, this was always the plan, they were always going to get here, and it's like, yeah, but why'd you waste 7 months doing this? You know what I mean? Like, if this was clearly where it was going to go, and this is clearly the best story for him, and yada yada yada. Well, why do we were wasting 7 months then of him being a dork? Like, Hey,
well, listen, I don't think we ever disagreed that they were eventually.
No, we said they were going to eventually get it, but we said just fucking do it. Just have him come out, and fucking take Kip Sabian's head off, and let's get going. Let's get to work here. Like, why are we wasting time?
Our whole point was, okay, eventually they'll flip the switch. That doesn't mean that what's happening now has to be awful.
Right. We don't have to like this because, it's Miro having fun. Like, we knew that this was going to be what it was. Like, we all knew that we were going to get to this point eventually. So, yeah, why did we waste 7 months getting to this point? And I don't think that build really helped. I don't think that because we saw that now Miro is more than, he could have come in here after 2 weeks and done this exact same character that he's doing now. It would have been fine and everybody would have enjoyed it just the same. So,
hey, look, we were even told straight up, hey, look, eventually we're going to push the guy the way that you think is good. But we're kind of just stalling it out right now. And I have, there's a plan. You guys might not like it, but there is a plan, and no, we did not like it. In fact, that was correct when they told us that. But it's just, to me, there could have been a different way to stall out his big push, other than what they did, because I do think it was all very, very bad. None of it was even remotely good. How much better off is he as just this guy who comes out in like Muay shorts, is no nonsense. Says he's going to kick people's asses.
Says I'm the best. I'm great at everything, and I'm the best.
How great is it? Just,
right.
Why did we play around with that other bullshit?
Yeah, we were arguing about fucking Mickey Mouse shirts for 3 weeks when we could have just, done
But it was so obvious that this was the better path, and it's like, and I understand it was just kind of like, all right, well, we were not ready to push him, so we kind of have to do something to stall it out. But our point all along was just it didn't have to be something that sucked. That's all.
Right. So, yeah, I think he will win here, but it'll be, I think, a little bit more of a competitive match than people think. So, another match here that I don't really have a good feel for, Joe, so I want you to try to help me get into this match or whatever. Hangman Page versus Brian Cage. I don't know. I'm in between on this match. It seems kind of like an in-between period for both of these guys, particularly for Hangman Page. I don't know. Sell me on Hangman Page versus Brian Cage, if you can.
Well, I don't like the match, but I can... Look,
it's not a great sell job, then.
Well, Thursday TV Review listeners know that I am so over Hangman Page to the point where I usually just skip his segments. I don't even talk about him because I cannot stand
the Dark Order stuff.
Dark Order
is
shit.
It's bad.
It's so bad.
It's Jump the Shark so long ago.
It stinks. Fucking Johnny Hungy can get lost. I cannot take it. It's just such like utter shit. And I really don't look. Here's the thing. Obviously, the Brody Lee thing, I think, totally threw off whatever story they had planned for Hangman Page long term. I get it. You can't control real life. I understand that. But now I think Page, it's like whatever the long term plan was, wasn't able to be completed, and now it's kind of like I don't think they know what to do with him.
Right, so now it's backstage segments where he sips whiskey and the other guys go, oh, Eggman, and then that's what we have now.
That's pretty much
for the last 2 months we've had that.
I find the Dark Order cringe. Look, I that doesn't necessarily mean I think that they should break the Dark Order up or get rid of them, because I understand that act may be over with other people. I have no use for it, but this match I think is easy though, because Cage beat Hangman to knock him out of the number one contender spot on Dynamite a few weeks ago and really cost him a world title chance. So Page will get his win back here, I think, and beat Cage. And then kind of get him back on track for whatever it is they're going to do with him, whether he's going to beat Omega's next challenger on the next pay-per-view or whatever. So from that perspective, I think it's a pretty easy match to figure out. I just think Page is going to beat Cage and kind of get his revenge or whatever. But I just have no interest in anything Hangman Page is doing right now until he gets separated from the Dark Order, because I cannot stand the Dark Order.
Yeah. And I'm always in between on Brian Cage as well. Like, there's times where I really think there is something there, and there's times where I think, you could do this with him or that with him. But largely, he's a guy that kind of underwhelms me all the time. So, yeah, this is a very underwhelming match to me. So, you did not sell me, Joe, very well on Hangman Page versus Brian Cage, as in, I don't watch any of this one guy's segments, and the other guy, he's just whatever, Brian Cage. So, I don't know. I guess. Hopefully, it's short, I suppose. Hopefully, it's not 25 minutes. So that's...
Little heat on Hangman Page. Little heat. Little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit heat.
Casino Battle Royal. So I'm going to list the names of the participants here of this Casino Battle Royal. We have a very dangerous to be announced, Joe, so I'll let wild speculation occur at the end here. But we have Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Penta El Zero, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, QT Marshall, Nick Comoroto, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and then to be announced.
Yeah, well...
Bryan Danielson. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. I don't think it's Bryan Danielson. So.
Yeah.
Coming out for the Casino Battle Royal.
You got to buy that one, right?
Yeah.
You got to buy that song. I mean, you could have Flight of the fucking... What is it?
No,
Flight
fuck that. Final Cut. No.
It's public domain. It's cheaper.
I know, but the entire instant reaction would be us yell. I don't know if what you would be doing. I'd be yelling at Tony Khan and telling him to, just like he did with the Moxley song, where somebody bought the wrong version of Wild Thing. Which is incredible, because Moxley came out and was like, what the fuck's that shit, man? And they're like, that's Wild Thing. He's like, no. There's another Wild Thing. Pick that. That's not the one I want.
Well, the cover reason was they wanted to use the original version for the Nagata match.
Okay.
I feel like that's a cover reason.
Yes, it's definitely a cover reason. That Moxley said, hey, give me that Wild Thing song, whatever. Yeah, you guys know the song, right? And they were like, all right. So somebody bought it. He came out to it and said, the fuck is that Wild Thing shit? What the hell's that? They're like,
right.
Wild Thing. And he's like, no. There's another fucking, no.
It's not Onita's song.
Yeah, Onita. Whatever the fucking one Onita uses. And then they looked it up and they said, oh, there's another Wild Thing. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Do you think he's ever seen Major League? The movie Major League?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's the movie he's seen. Yeah. Khan did say that he's making a bunch of signings and it's time to add to the roster. So the mystery man will be the first person, and then he said on the podcast they'll be announcing more signings after the pay-per-view. So that's kind of exciting, right?
It is, yeah. Hopefully they deliver on it, because that unfortunately has been an issue some of the times. But yeah, I don't know. I
just the Christian thing, right?
Yeah. I think right now, given that
Ethan Page was kind of a
not kind of, you don't have to prep it. You don't have to qualify that.
See, the Christian thing, I didn't see. I know people were disappointed by that.
People worked themselves into a shoe with that one.
Yeah, they really did. But the Ethan Page one was kind of it's kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
But Big Show doing commentary for this. Paul White will be doing commentary for this match. There's some speculation he could be the TBA. Maybe get him in there, right? The problem is then he has to win. And then you have to do Kenny Omega versus Paul White, which isn't like the worst idea, honestly. I mean, that would draw a rating, I think. Don't you think that would do a number? Versus Paul White for the title?
Yeah, there's a weird optics thing about it as well, where I might. Yes, it would, but I also think that the optics of it would be weird, and people would not be able to handle it very well. But I don't know if they should matter. I don't know if they should care about that.
Hold on. Roman and Sasha avatar is not handling it well, or people that matter?
A little bit A, a little bit of B. Definitely the Roman and Sasha people would not handle it very well. But I don't care about that. But I don't care about them.
Your core customers.
I do think there would be some. I do think there would be some. Oh my God, you're just using old WWE guys again. Like there's going to be your Romans and Sashas, whatever. They are what they are. Don't care about them. I do think there would be some like, that's kind of weird, You know
my stance on this. Once they're your guys, they're your guys. And to me, it's all how you use them and present them. And to me, Paul White has been nothing but a color commentator the entire time he's there. We've seen him on Dynamite once, I think. I think if he was the guy and he won this match and they did Kenny Omega versus Paul White, I think that would be a match that would draw a rating. I think it'd be a good idea. Obviously, I think you have Kenny Omega beat him. And I kind of see where you're coming from. I wouldn't care, though. I would kind of ignore that noise, because here's why. Number one, I know that he's never going to be a full-time guy. Number two, I know Omega's going to beat him. And that's really all that matters. The problem with the WWE guys is if you bring them in and then push them all to the moon. We've talked about this a million times.
Of course, yeah.
They haven't. Listen, Sting has wrestled one match since he's been in the company. Paul White hasn't wrestled at all. Christian, they didn't come in and give him a title shot. He's working his way up from the bottom. That's his literal gimmick, is that he has to work his way up from the bottom in order to get the title shot that he wants. That's his storyline right now. So it's not like they're just handing things to the old guys they're bringing in. They're just folding them into the roster, and they're naturally, I think they've handled everybody pretty well. So we're fantasy booking here. The guy's not even an official part of the match. I just wanted to throw that at you because I think it's an interesting scenario.
Yeah, I think the thing that I have with the Big Show, especially or Paul White or whatever, if he comes in and it's like you said, it's all about the presentation. I don't know that I would love that he enters a battle royal and then probably does punches and stuff and eliminate. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'm uneasy about that. I'm uneasy about a guy like that who he is your guy, like you said, but I want to maybe get him. I don't know if that's the best way I would use him right away. But I'm with you that it would it would be a good rating draw. But I just don't know if it'd be worth it, to be honest.
So I'm more into the idea than Rich is. It could just look. I don't think this is like the Ethan Page scenario where it's the fifth guy in a brass ring thing. I think you kind of have to have someone with name value in this spot.
Oh, no. And I was going to say that's one thing that makes me at least a little bit curious of who this person is, because you look at the other names in this Casino Battle Royal and you think, okay, one of these men at the end of the day is going to get a title shot against Kenny Omega or whatever. Christian Cage, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, that's not totally implausible if Christian Cage wins it. Matt Sydal, no. Hobbs, I don't think is ready for that yet. Penta, I guess you can do that. Jungle Boy, not ready. Matt Hardy, God help us. Private Party, that's not happening. Blade, that's not happening. Uno is not happening.
There's nobody else.
I mean, yeah, I can keep running down names, but there's pretty much nobody else in this entire thing.
It's lower mid-carders now.
Right. And now it's Dustin Rhodes. Now it's like these kind of weird one-offer one, which you could do, but you're not going to do that. You're not going to have...
This is my thing. It's either Christian Cage or the mystery guy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
Okay, they're not Penta under normal, but they just kind of did Penta and Omega not too long ago.
But Anthony Bowens is not winning this thing and getting a title match against Kenny Omega. So it's got to be somebody. It's got to be Christian Cage or somebody. I think so.
It's Cage or the mystery guy. Yeah. It's one or the other. Is there anyone they could get cute with who's like a rival of Cage who can?
Randy Orton? No, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Oh shit. No, that you know what? Is it going to be Kazarian? Because he says he wants to take apart the Bullet Club one by one for costing Christopher Daniels his career. He's not in the match.
Wait, take the air out of this balloon.
I think it could be.
It could be, yeah.
And then he would win, obviously. And that is totally a TV title match. Like for TV, Kazarian versus Omega. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not a match you would ever do on pay-per-view. And it fits the story. Let's hope that's not.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Joe. I was thinking Samoa Joe would be nice. No, I'm just kidding. So.
I mean, when is his thing up?
When is Samoa Joe's 90 days? Let's see. He was a 90-day guy. Yeah, I don't know if he was a 30-day or 90-day guy.
Yeah, so who knows? We can't even figure that out. But
let's see when he was officially released. He was officially released on April 15th. So how many days? How many days ago was April 15, 2021?
Last month.
42 days. 42 days.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
Unless his contract's up. So when you're faced with Kazarian or Paul, I think Paul White sound a lot better, isn't it?
I guess now that you've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Paul White balling up that fist and punching some people out of a battle royal doesn't sound so bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the alternative is fucking Frankie Kazarian, so all right, so there's Casino Battle Royal. All right, Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo, Revolutionary War rematch, America versus the UK, Freedom versus Fish and Chips.
Woo! I'm so into this.
I'm trying to think of other American thing. I'm the least I'm not a very patriotic man, so I'm trying to think of other defining traits of America that I can definitely say. Like, what did Cody? So Cody said, "Yo, I can't use the biracial thing because I don't know. He's in there with Anthony Ogogo, so it's not like, What else? What else did Cody say?
What do you mean?
I don't know. He was talking about freedom. I forget what else.
I don't know. I mean, promo was awful, but
USA versus America, baby.
I like the idea of the proud American and the proud Brit. Yeah. It's bombastic pro wrestling.
Yes, this is people. Oh my god, people have lost the plot with this. Like, dude, this is wrestling 101. Wrestling 101 is this asshole is from a country that's not my country. Fuck him. And that's
Yeah. He's the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Right.
Did you think he was going to
come out? He's the son of a plumber. I mean, come on.
Okay, he's the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. The guy is cutting promos left and right on America and burying America. Did you think Cody was going to come out and say, hey, you know what? He's got some points.
America does fucking stink.
This country stinks. And while we're at it, all landlords should be beheaded. Do you think that's what Cody was going to do so he could appeal to the 200 fucking Maoists wrestling fans on Twitter? Did you think that's what he was going to do? I mean, stop being like feckless nerds. It's bombastic, over-the-top pro wrestling, and it's great.
And he wants the copyright, too. So.
And he wants the copyright. And listen, I hope they both bring flags. I hope Cody comes in with a giant American flag. I hope Ogogo comes in with a giant Union Jack.
Do you think Cody's hair is going to be? My visions are that his hair is like half blue and half red or some shit like that.
And I hope they wave the giant flags at each other. I hope Cody comes down to the Star-Spangled Banner.
Ogogo coming out to? Oh my God, Ogogo coming out to the British anthem would be incredible. Yes. Oh my God, well, God Save the Queen. Hell yeah.
This is great. This is what pro wrestling's all about. And these nerds are all wrapped up in politics, nonsense. Like, come on, get over it. No one cares. No one cares except for 200 people on Twitter. Can we stop, please? How many people voted for Trump in this fucking election? You don't know what this country. It's like, let alone the people who just aren't political at all. and aren't out here. You think everyone hates America, and it's not the case. I mean, people are so off base with this one. I'm not saying I like the storyline or this is the direction I would have gone, but it doesn't bother me. This is pro wrestling. It's over the top, bombastic pro wrestling. And let me tell you something. If they do this match in the UK, it'll blow the fucking roof off of any building they do it in, and a Go-Go will be the face, and you'll have that awesome Hart Foundation 1997 dynamic of a Go-Go being the baby face in his country and the heel in America. And that's exactly what they're going for here. I totally believe this is by design. So it's cartoonish to me. It's a fucking cartoon. You can't sit there and take this seriously. Like Cody's out there, cutting a fucking serious promo on CNN. He's a pro wrestler doing a cartoon promo. I mean, for God's sake, people, can we get back into reality with this? Jeez. And I hope they do a flag match at some point.
I was gonna say a classic like flag match. Call up Del Wilkes. Can you call up Del Wilkes? I forget. Is Del Wilkes dead?
Del Wilkes is not dead.
Okay. Does he still own the Patriot gimmick? He sold it, right?
Listen, Del Wilkes is a hardcore right-wing Trumper. You can't.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he is. Okay. Don't call Del Wilkes. Yeah, don't call Del Wilkes.
He's out of his mind. You can't use Del Wilkes.
Okay, I didn't know he was that out of his mind. Okay, shit.
Yeah. He's not like your. Yeah,
he's not. Yeah, no, he knows. He knows what's going on. Yeah.
He's a fucking nut.
He knows the score and is well aware of the score and likes the score that he's got. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yes.
Don't call Del Wilkes.
But geez, that's what this is.
Call Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan probably only tangentially likes Donald Trump, right?
It's pro wrestling silliness, and it's like a Go-Go too. He's the opposite side of the same coin. He's a Union Jack guy. He was defending the monarchy a couple of days ago.
right.
So he's Cody just on the other side of the fucking water.
Yeah, he's an old school dude. He does fucking liver punches and shit. This is Cody just like you, and being the dork that Cody is, that he just sent this guy every like basic 80s and 70s, like, America versus X country match ever, and said, let's just keep it simple, man. You throw punches, you come out with the Union Jack, I come out with the American flag. Like, yeah, this is going to be a very, very basic match, and that's fine. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I don't people are really upset about this match for some reason. And it's like, yeah, it's classic, just dumb American pro wrestling, and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. But the more important thing here is the continued push and development of a Go-Go who looks like he can really be a top tier star. But if he's terrible in the ring, it's going to be a lot harder in this era where there's an expectation of match quality for him to get there. Right now, they're being very protective of him, which is smart. He's going in there. I thought the Austin Gunn thing on TV was tremendous. I mean, the gut punches and Gunn spitting up the blood and Gunn not wanting to give up, until the referee had no choice but to end it. So if a Go-Go is going to do these kinds of matches for now, it's going to come across different and it will work. But Cody really has a very important job on his hands because he's this is such a key match for a Go-Go, and I know they view him as a potential top guy. A Go-Go has everything else. The guy is loaded with charisma. He looks like $1 million. He can cut a promo. He has great credibility being the Olympic medalist boxer. He has the great entrance, okay? He has everything. Every box is ticked for that guy to be a huge star. But at some point, he at least has to be passable in the ring. He doesn't have to be Kenny Omega. He doesn't have to be Will Ospreay. But he has to be passable in the ring, okay? You can do these gimmick matches for now, but at some point, he has to be able to have a 7-minute match. And that is where the jury is out, and that is what we don't know yet. But as far as everything else goes, this looks like a guy who could be an elite top-level drawing star at the top of your card down the line.
Yeah.
But
sure.
But the jury is out. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm not saying I need to see more. He has everything but the bell to bell. We don't know. We do not know.
Yeah, and something that we've talked about a lot over the course of AEW's history, especially in the last year, is how interesting it is that this company that was built on the backs of Omega and the Bucks and these kind of work rate guys and all that sort of stuff, is that a lot of the people that they're developing, a lot of the young talents that they have, are guys that have everything but the in-ring. You know what I mean? Like have the look, have the promo skills, have have the charisma, have the it factor, but maybe we don't know what they can do bell to bell. And I think it's an interesting thing, and it's an interesting development. And he will be one that I'm going to keep my eye on in particular, because so far we've seen that he's very raw and that they don't have a whole lot of faith in him to, or maybe faith not the right word, but at least so far they've kept it kind of simple with him and just do basic stuff. And I think the question that, eventually comes up is, how long until he does have to have, what you would call a traditionally good match? Like, does this match versus Cody need to be that, or can it be, him, just kind of selling and then he hits one punch or whatever and it's over? Is that okay in your mind? Or
no, you don't need to do a real match here. You can do what he's been doing.
Okay, when's the point that you would want to see?
Let me tell you something. This is going to be arguably the hottest match on the show when it comes to the crowd. Okay, so you're going to have it's going to be helped by the red hot crowd. Okay, so they don't need to go out there for 8 minutes. They don't need to go out there for 15 minutes. You can get away with doing a 3 or 4 minute deal here because it's going to be hot. And then, whatever it is in terms of fit. Look, you can't beat a go-go yet. So he's either going to win the match, or if he does lose the match, he has to come out looking good in the end. He has to get his heat back, right? So the result almost doesn't matter. He just has to shine in the end. So I don't think it has to be long. This doesn't have to be where he proves himself as a worker, because even the way they've built it, you expect this to just be quick fireworks. Right.
And they're selling the rib injury as well, that a Go-Go's coming in with a bruised rib or whatever. So yeah, Cody's offense will be, he kind of attacks the rib and then a Go-Go, fights through it and knocks him out or something like that. And that's kind of your finish. In my mind, that's what I would do as the finish. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. To me, I'm fine with different wrestling, and I think that's one thing that AEW has done very, very well so far, is give us like an Anthony Ogogo type. I mean, we haven't gotten that type of guy in a while. We haven't gotten a guy that feels like he's got everything. You don't quite know the bell to bell yet, but that's fine, because they're gonna kind of hide the negatives and accentuate the positives, and they've done that with a bunch of guys. Powerhouse Hobbs is another one that I think they've done a really good job with that. On the women's side, Jade Cargill, another one that has all of everything you want, but just we don't know what she can offer bell to bell, so that's fine. You kind of hide that for right now, and little by little you kind of develop it until you're ready to kind of unleash it into the world. So no, I'm with it, and I'm very, very excited about this match, and hell, it's just, how awesome is it that we're just pushing new young talent that we've never seen before? I mean, this guy's going to be in either the semi-main or one, like you said, maybe the most anticipated in the top matches of the entire show, and we wouldn't have known this guy's name a year ago, 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And that's awesome.
It's unexposed talent, most importantly,
and that's what wrestling,
about the age,
and that's what wrestling is like. That's you go back and look at the history of successful pro wrestling companies, and they're built, and I'm not saying Anthony Ogogo is bringing in the new boom period or whatever, but like, you look at all of the history of successful pro wrestling except for 1996 and 1997 WCW, and pretty much every single period in pro wrestling that did well and was successful was built on the backs of new unexposed talent.
You always have to make new stars. I mean, that's the name of the game.
But don't tell it to every other wrestling company.
I understand.
Somewhere along the line, everybody lost the fucking plot on that. And
he might be a massive bomb here. I mean, this is a pivotal match for this guy.
Who knows? Yeah.
And for this company, and that's why it may be the most interesting match on the show. And Cody has an enormous task on his hands, and he's really been the guy since the formation of this company put in a position to get the new people over. He got Darby over. That feud with Cody got Darby over to the point where he's a legitimate drawing star at this point. His matches got Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston jobs. He's been put in positions to get other people over to varying degrees of success. Sean Spears didn't work out, right, to the level that that they wanted. But he's constantly in this position, and he's in it again with a guy who is very obviously incredibly green. Now, by design, his matches have been the way they are because, number one, they want to get him over as a killer. Number two, they don't want him selling yet. But they're also clearly hiding something. Okay, that's definitely a factor here too. So now we see. I still think there's going to be a lot of cloak and dagger with this. I don't think they're going to expose him. I don't think they're going to ask him to go out there and work 18 minutes. Who the fuck knows? Maybe we're wrong, and maybe this guy is hell on wheels, and they were saving it for this moment. I don't expect that, though. I expect it to be short. I expect it to be fireworks, and no matter what the result is, I expect Anthony Ogogo to be standing tall at the end, and Cody Rhodes laid out, probably with a fucking British flag draped over his lifeless body.
right, for
and,
sure.
and that's how I would do it, you know,
yeah.
and that's how I would go about it. So we'll see, but you know, I'm very interested to see how it all comes across.
Yeah, and give me variation and unpredictability versus safe and stable and the same shit you've seen. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing that a lot of wrestling, you know, they don't take risks like this and just go with the guys that hey, you know, this guy's going to give us a good 15-minute match. Let's put him in the spot. Sheamus, you know what I mean? We'll keep pushing Sheamus because we know exactly what we're going to get from the guy. We know exactly what the match is going to be. But yeah, sometimes I like some variations. Like you said, it could bomb, it could fucking rule, you know, and it feels like there's no in between. It's either going to bomb or just fucking rule. And I like that. That's fun. That's exciting.
And I mean, in all seriousness, the last place I want serious politics is pro wrestling. Believe me, I don't want politics at all, period, in my life at all. So the last place I want it is my pro wrestling. The thing about this, though, is it feels cartoonish to me. That's why it's like I said at the top, like it feels like just huge, bombastic, silly pro wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I did Coco on Twitter. I forget what it was.
And look, I know that I'll let you make your point, but it's like I feel like, yes, this is like the worst time ever to do like, you know, a gymnastic babyface or whatever. But it's like, it feels so cartoonish to me that this doesn't feel all that much different than like Corporal Kirshner and Nikolai Volkov having a flag match. It's
right.
It feels like pro wrestling silliness to me. And I think people just have to stop like taking it like it's some kind of serious referendum on fucking politics and just take it for what it is, which is just dumb pro wrestling. Yeah,
just dumb, stupid pro wrestling, yes. Which is it's a dumb, stupid hobby. And it does dumb, stupid things a lot, and it's awesome. So just enjoy it. But Anthony Ogogo, he's like got quotes from like King Edward and stuff.
Yeah, it just to me it's so
over
silly.
the top. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, it's just the level of shit talking. Yeah, he's going to King Edward.
And look, Cody's promo fucking stunk.
It was so stupid. Yeah,
I have never defended the promo. It's just a bad promo. He is just.
But this is pro wrestling is dumb. You know, I love it. Yeah, Cody talking about how I just all the stuff about freedom and Americana, and then Anthony Ogogo on the other side quoting King Edward VIII, and it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean he got a smattering of boos, but he did reel him back in. And then, you know, but the angle itself is just, I don't know. It's just silly pro wrestling. But, you know, we'll see. I'm looking. That's the match I'm most looking forward to because I'm most curious about.
Yeah, absolutely. AEW Women's Championship, Hikaru Shida defending the title against Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Very high anticipated match here. Do you do the title switch? She just had the title. I mean, it feels like, especially they've been doing a lot of like, hey, Shida just passed 365 days. Hey, she was champion from this. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like a little too much celebrating of how long she's been the champion. And yeah, I feel like it's time.
And very heavy-handed that she's the ace on the media call today, Cody. He's like, no one can beat Shida right now.
Yeah.
But this feels like the perfect timing for Baker. I feel like if you don't do it now, you're missing the opportunity.
Miss it. Yeah, you could miss it for sure.
This could be not putting it on Tyler Black at the right time in ROH. This could be, you know, name any title change that came too late where you missed the peak and the right timing for it. That's what this feels like. You know, Baker is peaking right now. She feels like a really hot act. And, you know, Shida, to be honest, look, she got them through a tough time. She hasn't been any kind of great champion or anything. She was a necessary champion, and she did a great job getting them through the pandemic and all of that. But she's not lighting anyone's world on fire or anything like that from a business perspective. It's time to put the title on Britt Baker. She's the number one person in the division. You put the title on her, and then you have a million different directions you can go, whether it's with Thunder Rosa or Serena Deeb or whoever else. It's time to make the change.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you know Shida's done a good job as champion. I think it's been a decent reign. It's adds stability to the division. The division feels way better than it did, you know, this time a year ago, and especially, you know, even this time, you know, 6 months ago or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely time for Britt. I think Britt has definitely earned that. She's built herself back up, and I think it's a great time to do a title switch right now. And kind of get to the next step of the women's division. So yeah, I'm anticipating this match. I think it's gonna be pretty damn good. I think Britt's one of the best characters on AEW right now, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty fun. And I think it's gonna be in a pretty prominent spot on the show as well. So definitely looking forward to that. And then you have your AEW World Championship match. Does this main event, or what do you think? Stadium Stampede main events? What Women's match. I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know if I main event with this one. I don't know. Even though it's a world title match, I get it, but I don't know. I wonder if you maybe put somewhere else.
I don't know. I don't know what goes on last. Do you make people sit through the Stadium Stampede pre-taped thing last?
Yeah, that's what I think you got to do. I think you have to have that one last, just for.
See, I think that's weird. I think you have to send people home with something in front of them. What did they do last year? Oh, no one was there. Never mind.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It was just us watching at home.
No, I think you do the Stadium Stampede in the semi-main event spot, or maybe in the middle of the show. I think it's just a weird dynamic to end the show with something, with people watching something on a screen.
Yeah, well, they've said that there's going to be a lot of live dynamics of it. So that's where I wonder if maybe the anticipation is that a lot of it happens in front of the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible too. You're right.
And if that's the case, like, I think that's a good match to end it with. It's kind of plundery at back. But like you said, there is still the optics of some part of that match might be done backstage and people are just watching on a monitor, and that kind of sucks for your quote-unquote main event. So I'm with you on that.
And you can end the show with it if it starts in the football stadium and ends in the Daly's place.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that you could do. But I just think it would be a really weird dynamic to end with, like, the way it was last year, where it was all just a taped match. That's weird.
Sure.
Weird.
Yeah. I would definitely not do that. But regardless,
I mean, if I were there, I might leave. If I were there, I might leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll fuck it. I'll watch it later. Not that big of a deal. I'm not going to sit here and watch a screen.
Beat the traffic, right?
Yeah,
Get
absolutely. I'm gonna beat the traffic guy.
Leave like
sure.
Leave like it's a Sammy Callahan main event on Bourbon Street.
Oh, you know me. That's it.
Beat the traffic.
I beat a lot of traffic during those days. That was good. That was fantastic. I remember I would like follow the tweets, and I'd be like walking in the door as people were like, Sammy won. Like,
yeah,
X challenged him in the ring. One time I missed Penta actually beating Sammy, win the title. So I'm still convinced AEW did that on purpose just to make me feel like an asshole for leaving. So
yeah.
Anyway, you have Kenny Omega defending the title against Orange Cassidy and Pac. So I hate triple threat matches. I'm not into this at all. I'm not into. I was about to say I have zero interest in this match at all. Just give me Kenny versus Pac.
Yeah, but
maybe just give me Kenny versus Cass. I might even like Kenny versus Cassidy. I like every triple threat match that I always talk about. I would just prefer it be. I mean, I've been there live when Orange Cassidy and Pac have had a fun match. I've been there live. I've seen Kenny Omega and Pac have great matches together. I think Kenny Omega and Orange Cassidy themselves could probably have a pretty fun match together. I have absolutely zero interest in seeing a triple threat match between these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like they did this because they knew they can get away with it on this show, because there's other stuff on the show that's going to draw. So they didn't. In a way, it's like you're not burning off a big Kenny Omega singles match when you don't have to. I kind of think that's the mindset. I don't like the idea of the three-way. That was always the plan all along, even though Orange Cassidy got his bell rung. That match was going to be a 20-minute draw, and we were going to end up in the same place anyway. So it's not like they got backed into this corner and couldn't get out of it. This was the plan. And I just don't like it. It's just, the whole three-way dynamic. Look, it'll probably be really good. I mean, I'll probably enjoy it through gritted teeth, but it's just not a match that I'm looking at it and I can't tell you I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny clearly is going to win. I mean, there's zero chance that Kenny loses this match, so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? There's not.
Yeah, there's that factor too.
Yeah, it's just there's no real interest level, and Cassidy's shtick can kind of wear on me a little bit, and Pac is great, but yeah, I feel like. I don't know. It might be pretty good, but I don't know. I'm not too interested in this. So there you go. That is AEW Double or Nothing. We will again be there live immediately following the show. Patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling, our $10 tier. So we'll have the link up pretty soon. Probably tomorrow we'll have the link up so you can kind of save the link and have an idea when we're going, or set a reminder. They do a YouTube thing. You can set a reminder to get notified when we go live. But yeah, we will go live immediately following the show, usually about 5 or 10 minutes afterwards, and give our thoughts on each and every match and react to the pay-per-view immediately after it on Sunday. So, and you could say everybody could stay up later too, because Monday's Memorial Day, so probably not doing anything. Maybe off work. So yeah,
it's a day off. There you go.
Can't wait. So
at least here in America,
yeah, woo 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 woo.
It's a day off
where we honor all of our soldiers that have died for all the wars we've been in. Yeah,
I don't know about you limeys over there, okay, but in America,
where we won the Revolutionary War, goddammit.
That's right.
And I think the War of 1812, I forget if that ended. Yeah, we won that one. I don't know if it ever ended. I don't know if it ended. Like, was it just kind of like, this is stupid. Let's stop doing this one.
Nah,
so.
we were undefeated until Vietnam.
Yeah. That was a no contest.
Yeah.
Time limit draw. Broadway. Yeah, went Broadway.
Well, that's a liberal interpretation. That's Rich is given the house version. But
I don't know. I tend to think it's that. I think Vietnam was a little more of like a 1990 WCW pay-per-view match, where it's 10 seconds on the clock. 10 seconds.
In my book, that's going in the yell column. I think that one was an Rich is an easy marker. You
don't win the title. No, it's one of those. We didn't win the title. You know what I mean? It was like I'm trying to think of who it would be. It'll be Fly-In Brian defending the title against, Johnny B. Bad. And he took him to the distance, but he didn't win the title because it went to the draw. So
remember the British squash match against the Falkland Islands where they beat them in like 2 days?
Yeah, that was good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. America had a squash match, too, against Grenada. Remember? The squash match against Grenada? Yeah. Every now and then you got to have a squash match.
Yeah, just go to an island, bomb it a few times, and go, we won. All right, there we go. Yeah, America, let's do this.
Got to keep sharp.
Yeah, get your thing back. Yeah, get your swagger back. So, yeah. Yeah, the Falklands, I do remember that. That was a big deal for like 2 days. So
got to keep your heat on TV.
Yeah.
So you got.
And unfortunately, Vince McMahon thought we would have a little bit more trouble in Iraq, and the first time, and that ended up not quite working out very well for his plans. But the Falklands. What do we do? What happens with the Falklands these days? Do we care?
I don't know. I mean,
we wanted.
That's a UK war. No, that's the UK squashed the Falkland Islands. We squashed Grenada.
That's right. We squashed Grenada. Yeah,
we squashed Grenada. You're mixing up Grenada and the Falkland Islands. The Falkland Islands, UK, that was their squash match. That was the UK squash.
Oh, good for them. Yeah.
I don't know anything about it because who cares? That's England's history. But I honestly, I don't know anything about the Grenada conflict.
Yeah,
either.
I'm not sure either. So
I just know that those were war equivalents of squash matches. So I'm sure this will be pleasing audio.
I'm sure people will love this and not react.
The way they did to Cody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So that is AEW Double or Nothing again. Instant Reaction Live on Sunday, immediately following the show. So one thing we talked about on the AEW Double or Nothing is the buy-in. NWA Women's Championship. Serena Deeb defending the title against Riho. So we have an NWA Women's Championship match on Double or Nothing. NWA When Our Shadows Fall is coming up next weekend. Joe, We have one match announced for NWA When Our Shadows Fall. It is the highly anticipated NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between Nick Aldis and, of course, Trevor Murdoch. Now,
I'm going to pull a Kanye on you and say, listen, I'm going to let you finish, Rich. But the Falkland War, here we go. The Falkland War was a 10-week undeclared war between Argentina and the United Kingdom in 1982 over two British dependent territories in the South Atlantic, the Falkland Islands, South Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands.
Ooh.
This is what they were fighting over. So this was 10 weeks long from April 2nd, 1982 to June 14th, 1982. And it resulted in a quick and tidy British victory over Argentina.
So there you go. Yeah.
Take that, Diego Maradona.
Yeah,
right?
Not so good now. Yeah, you can kick some goals. You can score some points. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can't. I didn't use the terminology correct at all because I don't know anything about soccer. But
score some points.
And I call it soccer, goddammit, not football because I'm American. So
yeah, so I believe that Sandwich Island and South Georgia Island are now back in the possession of the.
Good, thank God.
Yeah, I could sleep at night now knowing that, but that was, or at least were in 1982. I need to know more about Sandwich Island in Argentina.
It's probably not that cool, but it might be cool. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder.
Sandwich Island,
what do you got?
South Georgia and South Sandwich Island.
It's pretty small. They look pretty small. I would have just let somebody have these. Like I don't think I care about these.
Why are we fighting a war over
you
these
might just want to let somebody take
islands?
These. Yeah.
There are remote South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands are British overseas territories. It is a remote and inhospitable collection of islands.
What are we doing here? Come on.
Consisting of South Georgia Island and a chain of smaller islands known as the South Sandwich Islands. This sounds like it's fake. They're remote and inhospitable. And they had a 10-week war over these islands? What is going on here? I thought America fought stupid wars.
Yeah, now we're finding that this.
I gotta tell you, I was leaning towards a go-go. I gotta side with Cody here.
Yeah, all right, USA.
South Sandwich Islands.
Right.
What are we doing here? There's like when you click it, it's just they show you a picture of penguins. Like
Yeah. There's just puffins. There's not even any like.
No one even population 30. Not 30,000. Rich 30. 30 people live on these things, and they're probably like scientists.
Yeah. Oh my God! I'm looking at these photos. A lot of penguins. You weren't kidding.
A lot of penguins.
All right.
Yeah. What is happening here? They have their own currency though, the Falkland Island pound.
Oh yeah, nice.
How much could that be worth?
I was gonna say,
on the island.
what are you buying from here?
What do you have? What do you
gonna barter with one of these fucking penguins? And
there's 30 people. Can you
that's
just
a
rob
lot
the
of
other
penguins,
29?
man. Hell yeah, this looks pretty.
Like
cool.
if you mug the other 29 people, you can own all of the currency in South Sandwich Island, right? Like all the Falkland Island pounds. And just take that shit over. If they have 30 people, do they have a leader? It doesn't look like it. It looks like they are governed directly by the UK.
But they're so far away. You can do whatever you want. No one's gonna know.
Yeah, really. Who's gonna stop you?
It's whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I got to know more about this war. I'm gonna have to read up on this. And
Yeah,
why,
we'll get a book or something. Yeah, we'll come back next week and
why was Argentina like, look, we have to have these back? I'm very confused. You can't even live on this island, on these islands. I wonder if they learn about this in British school.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. We don't learn about like the Grenada War, but
we don't.
I don't. Dude. I didn't. I don't know. Maybe you did.
I don't remember. I didn't pay attention in school.
We didn't learn about a lot of stuff in American history.
No, definitely not.
We glossed over a few things here and there. You know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
We won the Revolutionary War and in World War II. We won that too. All right.
Right.
The end.
Anyway, there's the South Sandwich and South Georgia Islands.
There we go. So see, that's all it took for you to become patriotic, is to find out that the UK fought a dumbass war in the 80s. So now you're.
All right, we're being told in the chat room there's the people that live in the Falklands didn't want to be invaded by. Okay, Argentina invaded the islands. Here's what happened.
Okay. They wanted the islands.
And I'm back on a go-go side. This sounds like a useful war because these people were invaded by Argentina. So a go-go.
I'll be honest. How many people invaded? Was this like 3 guys from Argentina came and like?
I mean, there's 30 people.
That's what I mean. They probably had like a ship and like 5 dudes. And like, we own these islands now. And they're like, oh.
Yeah. What a bizarre war.
Yeah. Really, really stupid.
All right. What were we talking about here?
A bizarre wrestling company, NWA, which apparently still exists here. So they, I want you to describe. So I do not keep up with NWA. I know you do. We have talked about that. We will cover this pay-per-view. We'll review this pay-per-view. We'll preview this next week as much as we can. But as far as we know, so this, as of this recording right now, we have Nick Aldis versus Travis Murdoch. So we have exactly the same amount of NWA title matches on AEW Double or Nothing as we do NWA When Our Shadows Fall. The kicker, though, is even though NWA When Our Shadows Fall is not till next week, Joe, they've had their go-home show, right?
Yes.
Their show this week was it.
So
this was their last chance on their television show that they charge people for to promote this pay-per-view. And as of the end of that show this week, NWA Power this week, we have Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch. And that's it.
Correct.
Okay, great. Awesome.
And
they're charging for this thing.
Yes.
You're supposed to pay them money to watch this show, correct?
Above and beyond your subscription for Power.
So you pay for Power, which, are you getting a refund next week for not having a Power or no?
No.
Is it going to be a Super Power, or what's the other one called?
Power Surge?
Power Surge. It's not going to be a Power Surge? It's just,
no
they're just nothing. They're just not airing anything.
I don't know. They'll probably air some kind of recap.
Not to get you fired up. Yeah, get you fired up for
or maybe maybe they'll announce the rest of the card.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I it's like I saw some people defending not naming
matches.
Any matches. A women's title match saying, well, Deeb, we don't know if Deeb is going to beat Riho. So, but they can still say Serena Deeb or Riho faces X. They don't have to wait for the result of that match. You're giving NWA too much credit if you think that's why they did it.
Right. I understand what people are saying, but then it's NWA. Like,
yeah.
Also, where are all the other matches too? Like, if you want to give me I will almost allow the idea that they don't want to promote a match because like you're right, that's giving them way more credit than they deserve. But where are all the other matches? Why have you not promoted anything else?
Nothing. Yeah, just a world title match. Yeah, it's and why did they time it to where the go home show was 2 weeks before the pay-per-view? Why wasn't that next week? Right? None of it makes sense. So, I mean, next week presumably we'll have a full preview of this, but I don't fucking know. Thunder Rosa and Camille had a time limit draw to determine the number one contender. And they didn't tell us it's going to be a 3-way or no, we didn't tell us anything. So I presume it's going to be a 3-way against Serena Deeb, or they couldn't possibly send Riho to work that show, right? Or maybe maybe it'll be a 3-way with whoever the champion is, or maybe Rich, they didn't say anything. I
don't know.
I don't know.
Our preview is just going to be us saying things right now. So yeah, it's very, very bizarre. I just wanted to touch on it briefly that we're a week out. Their go home show has aired and we have one match. So
I don't even know any directions.
Right, like you can't even assume that. Okay, well, on this, definitely on this, week's show, which is going to be a recap or whatever, they're going to announce this, this, and this, and they basically built it up. Like you have no fucking clue at this point.
Well, they're going to do the Pope versus Tyrus for the TV title.
Main event anywhere. So fantastic.
I think they're going to do that because Tyrus was one of the final four in the Battle Royal. They've been feuding anyway, and the Pope left the broadcast table to pull Tyrus out of the ring.
Okay.
So to eliminate him. So they're probably going to have a match for it. And Tyrus has been chasing the TV title. By the way, this 14-man Battle Royal, Rich, only 1 foot has to touch the floor, and you didn't have to go over the top rope.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Battle Royal has been fine. Just do a normal Battle Royal.
So Sal Rinauro gets thrown over the top first guy, and he's holding on to skin the cat.
But then he gets tossed.
No, 1 foot touched, and they said, he's out. And the refs were like, you got to let go, you're out.
So wait, you don't have to go over the top rope, so you can slide underneath, but if 1 foot hits the floor, you're done?
Both, yeah.
So it's the floor is lava. The floor is lava.
The floor is lava.
Yeah,
only 1 foot has to touch the floor. And you don't even have to, it's just out of the ring, period. You don't have to go over the top rope. Tyrus did not go over the top rope. The Pope went to ringside, tripped him from behind, and yanked him out underneath the bottom rope to eliminate him. He didn't go over the top rope.
Yeah.
Guys, one guy did a tope and eliminated himself. He went through.
That sounds terrible.
It was awful. Awful.
What is this show?
Why did they change the rules of a battle royal?
Yeah, they've been fine for 90 years.
You know why I think they did it? I have a theory. I don't think Tyrus can go over the top.
Oh, a little Iron Sheik style thing.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you're right.
And since he wasn't winning, they were because I don't think people understand how woefully out of shape he is. And listen, he wasn't exactly Jack LaLanne to begin with. Okay? But he is so woefully out of shape at this point. Even
there's multiple people listening that have no idea who Jack LaLanne is.
Even by Tyrus standards, he's woefully out of shape. He's blown up instantly every match he has, to the point where he's a danger to his opponent. I'm not even exaggerating. Anyone else watching, which is no one, would tell you the same thing. I really think they changed the rules because they didn't want him to win, and he's incapable of going over the top rope. But that doesn't explain the 1 foot thing. Why would you make that a thing? Only 1 foot has to touch. I don't understand. I don't understand the show.
It's a bizarre company, Joe.
So that's one match. I think they'll do Tyrus challenge and Pope. I think they'll do a 3-way for the women's title. You've got Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch. Trevor Murdoch, by the way, cut an excellent promo to close the show. Emotional. I wish Harley was here to see this. He told me I'd be the world champion someday. It was a good promo.
Is that available to watch? Is that because I've seen it passed around, but I don't know. Is it available to watch?
No, you would think they would make that promo available.
I was going to say, probably didn't. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's no direction for Chris. Oh, Chris Masters is no longer. That's right. He's not the national champion anymore anyway, because he had to forfeit his title to enter the Battle Royal. Because no champions were allowed to enter the Battle Royal.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it gets worse.
Why would you want to be in this Battle Royal, though?
It's because the winner gets a world title shot.
Okay.
So the Pope was like, fuck that, I'm keeping my TV title. But,
I see. Okay. But all, yeah, okay. But
So
Adonis
Chris,
or whatever. Yeah, Chris Adonis decided.
No, he didn't. Aldis made him do it because he wanted Adonis and Latimer to go after Murdoch. So he wouldn't win.
Okay. All right.
So it's actually that. No, because now there's Adonis is going to be mad at Aldis because he had to give up his title for nothing because Murdoch won anyway. And Aldis is going to be mad at Adonis and Latimer because
for not
Murdoch
doing the
won.
job. They didn't eliminate him. Yeah. Okay.
So they can do something with that. Okay. So, but my point is, there's no direction for Adonis for the pay-per-view, and there's no direction for the now vacant national title, and they've announced nothing. Which means, I guess next week, I'm presuming they'll have some kind of recap show where they announce the matches. Aaron Stevens and Kratos are the tag team champions. They're doing the gimmick where one's a babyface and one's a heel, and they don't get along. And it's like, it's not exactly Kevin Steen and El Generico. Okay, let me put it that way. It hasn't been great, but that's the story they're doing. But they don't have challengers set up. You know, they just beat Crimson and Jax Dane, so they can't face them again. I don't know.
There's not much else in the roster. Yeah, unfortunately, that's
the whole fucking roster. There is no one else in the roster. You know, Tim Storm hasn't been on the show in 2 weeks. They keep saying he's on assignment. Where? What is he doing?
What's he doing?
What's the assignment?
Finals week at school or something. I don't know.
Yeah, didn't they do all these tapings at once? Like,
I thought so. I guess.
What did he go out for lunch? Like, where's Tim Storm?
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. There's not even directions where you can put together a card. So I don't fucking know. Your guess is as good as mine. And they made no announcement for what next week is going to be. Whether it's, first of all, whether it's going to exist.
Yeah, whether they're going to charge you.
Whether they're going to air something, we don't know. And then what they air, we know it's not going to be a power, but are they going to announce matches? Or are we expected to pay whatever this fucking thing costs for Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch and shoulder shrug? What the fuck? The only other thing we know is that Smashing Pumpkins are playing their hot new single, which is going to be the theme song of the event.
Oh, I didn't know the Smashing Pumpkins had a hot new single. There you go. I'm interested now.
Well, you're going to be shocked to know it's called When Our Shadows Fall.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah. So that's the only other thing they're doing on the show. They're going to promote their song. I
kind of respect Billy there. That's pretty good work there. Just, his weird pro wrestling. What does Rover call it? He calls it Nick Aldis and Billy's tent, or like little like couch tent. It's just like their little. It's like they're fig fed. You know what I mean? It just doesn't there's no real purpose to it. It's not like real.
Listen,
but it kind of happens.
I want to like it. I very badly want to. I want to like it. I want my little simple 48-minute wrestling show that doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. Simple Southern style studio wrestling. That's what it was before I liked it. I want to like it. It's impossible to like this. I don't know who. Well, we have an idea who might be booking it. Some of the names involved, but it needs to change. This is awful. They need an adult in the room that knows what the fuck they're doing. Because again, you don't need this to be inventive or like state of the art. You just need it to be simple and to make sense.
Right, and you need it to not end up with your go home show being 2 weeks before your pay-per-view and you having one announced match before the pay-per-view. I mean, that's just, yeah. That tells you right there that,
You can even tell with the promos there's no direction because
you don't have the right people in place. Yeah, and it's especially a show like this. And that's what made the first run of Power so good. That's what made Ring of Honor when they were doing the Pure tournament, and a lot of COVID wrestling was one of the things I liked about COVID wrestling. One of the things that I hope kind of stays from COVID wrestling, when we were talking about that a few weeks ago, is because you had to do kind of mass tapings and stuff like that. It got us back to the days of, all right, what the hell are we going to do for the next month or two? Let's sit down, let's plan it out, and we can't deviate. We can't change. This is our plans for the next 2 months. Like, this is what we're going to do. And presumably, they could have done that with Power, is sat down and said, okay, here's the pay-per-view. Here's When Shadows Fall. Here are the 5 matches we're going to announce to the pay-per-view or whatever, the 5 matches we're going to book. How do we get here? And that's how it was done. That's how it was done for years and years and years and years. You can't get to this point and not have a clue. Like, that's just, you're just not understanding the basic principles of booking pro wrestling if you get to this point. And you have no clue. So, I don't know.
Thunder Rosa Camille was really good.
Oh, yeah? Hey, I will check that one out for sure.
Best match of the season. If you were an easy marker, I could see someone going Notebook. It was that good. So, if you want me to say something positive,
yeah.
I think Slice Boogie has impressed me.
You're a big Slice Boogie guy? Yeah.
I mean, I think there's something there for him. I don't think he's like a fucking future world champion, but Genocide has looked phenomenal. And Thunder Rosa is always good. And I don't know. I mean, the Pope.
Murdoch cut a good promo. Okay. Yeah, Pope cuts.
Murdoch cut a really good promo. Yeah, really good promo, Murdoch. The Pope has been okay. But he's stuck wrestling Tyrus half the time. I mean, and the TV title matches meander back and forth from 10-minute time limits to 6:05-minute time.
They haven't decided yet?
And, well, it was 10 minutes on the pay-per-view. Then it was 6:05 again.
Yeah.
And Tyrus and the Pope went to a draw. So the Pope, with the wild card thing, has 4 successful defenses. He needs 3 more to get a world title shot. He just has to survive 7 times. You don't have to win, but if you survive 7 defenses, you can then turn in your TV title, like the Money in the Bank briefcase, and get a world title shot. They've had that going way back, but no one has earned it.
Right, no one's ever gotten there, so.
He's close. He needs 3 more. And the way they're building it, I feel like he's going to get it. I don't know. We're going to do this again next week.
Yeah, we'll try to guess. Hopefully we'll at least have a few more matches on the board, but we always got to cover NWA. You know that. This is, as long as the site's existed and the show's existed, we've covered NWA.
I will never stop covering NWA.
Until it goes away, until those numbers get retired or those levels get retired.
Happened.
Yeah, so it's
not going to happen. So that's never going away.
All right, let's move on to final 2 topics here. The latest on Will Ospreay. We'll go to Japan here a little bit. What last week, as of the end of the show last week, we had reported we were still kind of getting information coming through. We were kind of getting things as the show was going on. We did get some updates throughout the weekend. You did a post at patreon.com/voices of wrestling of what we had heard that weekend about Will Ospreay and what was going on and what's going on with Gaijin and what was going on in New Japan in general. Where would you say we are right now with this story? Basically a week out from when he did sacrifice the title and vacate the titles, and when New Japan made the announcement that the titles are now vacated and that he is going to be gone and all that sort of stuff. So what would you say? What's the best way to kind of describe it of where we're at now and what we've sort of heard as of late?
Well, I don't have anything new from the 2 news updates we did behind the paywall. The only new information is that Will Ospreay is sending out X-rays and of his neck.
Well, a neck.
Of a neck. Yeah, okay, good point, because I know where you're going to go with that. And then saying that, doctors have told him that his back is now thrashed too. So you can add his back to the torn rotator cuff, the injured neck, the broken nose as another injury, quote unquote injury. Look, I don't know where you stand, and I guess you'll have the floor next. My whole thing is I believe he's hurt. I don't know the extent of his injuries, whether they're being worked or exaggerated or whatnot, but I do believe he's really banged up. I do believe that. I'm 100% certain that he was planning on wrestling Okada and dropping the belt to him and then going home. And then, as I reported, he got insulted that they asked him to stay, and instead of staying like the other guys did, he said, "No, fuck you. You told me I can go home. I'm going home." And that's what he did. and some of the other people stayed and then unfortunately tested positive, and that's why they're hot. And those people are isolating in the dojo.
Yeah, they have to stay in the dojo too.
And they're hot about that because they don't have the good hotel accommodations. They've been told to stay in the dojo, which is a dump. So they're not happy about that either. None of them are happy about constantly going back and forth and being the quarantines and the 14 days. And so it's been stressful for everyone. So I believe he's hurt. I believe I mean, everyone seems to agree he was going to wrestle through the tour and wrestle Okada in the Dome, and we all presume he was going to lose. Because then the idea was then he was going to go home and rest up because they weren't going to use him on the next tour after he lost the title. Or after that match, which we're all assuming where he would have lost the title. But when they canceled it and told him he can go home, he packed his bags. And then when they said, oh, no, wait, we're going to run some Corkins, he gave them the jerk-off motion and said, not with me, you aren't. So I'm out of here. And then he wasn't communicating with them, and so they had no choice. They're like, all right, well, we have to strip him because we don't know when or if he's coming back. So that's where I kind of stand on it. And now he's taking this period to heal up that he was planning on taking after he dropped the belt. I think we could all agree he was probably losing to Okada. I mean, that seems obvious now. But I guess it's not, like, no one told me that. So I'm not, like, saying I was told he was going to lose to Okada, but I think that's a reasonable assumption. Because he was going to go heal up. But, yeah, there is unrest. And, you know, there is, and it's not just the foreigners either. You know, as I talked about behind the paywall, you know, the native talents pissed off too when they found out that this latest tour was happening when the fans did, because they found out from Twitter the same day. So even the native talent was like, what the fuck? You know, we thought we were, you know, going home too. And then, you know, they called in and complained to Togo, who seems to be the go-between at this point between some of the other people in the office. But, you know, and then he passed the buck. He said, well, look, we were waiting on the suits to tell us whether or not we were running shows or not. They told us we're running shows. And then we were waiting on COVID results to see how we were going to book the shows. So that was the delay. So that was the office reasoning. It's just, they're all mad about the miscommunication. And the Japanese talent is now convinced that a lot of these gaijins are going to leave when their contracts are up in January. Over all of this. They're convinced. And there are a lot of people on the Japanese side who believe that Will Ospreay is never coming back and that this is a play to try to get released. But again, that's just speculation from a lot of the Japanese in the company. Will Ospreay has never said he wants a release. Will Ospreay has not asked for a release to the best of our knowledge. Definitely hasn't been granted one. But there are people, both in the office and talents on the Japanese side, who think that's his end game. And that's kind of where the NXT UK thing came from. It's like, that was described to us as like just a misunderstanding of what NXT UK is. Like that's people connecting dots. Like, okay, we know he wants to be closer to the UK, and that would be a convenient place to work because he can stay home. But they don't understand what NXT UK is.
Right, they don't understand what kind of demotion that would be for the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
They don't understand that WWE is not going to pay him what he's going to require and then put him there.
Exactly, right.
And they don't understand that, you know, it's just it never made sense. So it was described as, well, the Japanese don't really understand what NXT UK is. They think it's all the same. So there really isn't much to that further than just speculation from some of the Japanese talent who don't really understand the place of NXT UK in the pecking order. I explained it all much better behind the paywall with written word. But for some reason, I'm way more articulate writing things than saying things. That's backwards. But yeah, it's. I don't have any update. We don't have any updates from that. We just know what Will Ospreay's telling people. His back is injured too. So, Here comes Rich injury conspiracy.
No. Well, I'm not with this particular one. I'm not as much of an injury conspiracy. It just boggles my mind how every single time, and I just say, be cautious when a wrestler gives you a picture of a body part and everybody goes, "Oh, see, there you go. It's his neck. I told you it was his neck." And it's like, okay, well, maybe we don't know that that's his neck. It's a neck. It's an image of a neck. It's somebody's neck. It's an X-ray of a neck. Like, we don't know definitive. And to Will's credit, he just fucking shared a picture of a neck. You know what I mean? He didn't say, "Here is my neck. Here's the vertebrae that are fucked up." It's literally just a picture of a neck. And people go, "Oh, yep, see, it's clearly the neck." And then you got people, circling it and going, "Oh yeah, this disc here and this." It's like, you don't know anything.
Which could also be him going along with the Office cover reason for kayfabe.
Right.
It could be him doing kayfabe.
I don't know. Like, I don't know one way or another. I'm sure he's hurt. I'm sure he is. Every wrestler's hurt, as we said last week. Every wrestler could probably take off 6 months right now. Every single guy that's a regular, especially Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? Especially Will Ospreay. But I am positive that pretty much every single wrestler in the world could take 6 months off and probably would find something that they would say, "Hey, you know what? This is perfect. I need these 6 months off because of X. My ankle, my wrist, my back, my neck, whatever." There's something going wrong with everybody at all times. There definitely is. But yeah, let's maybe just not automatically assume because a pro wrestler shares a picture of a body part that is A, his body part, and that B, that's the body part that's clearly hurt and that's the reason that they're out. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if Will is or not. The fact that he's doing the exact Tanahashi playbook, though, I do enjoy, though. That is fantastic.
The word from the trainer was that he could get through the matches on the rest of the tour. But then the tour was canceled. And then he packed his bags, and then he said, "Fuck you, I'm not coming back for Corkins." So it's not like he has injuries to where the New Japan trainers thought he cannot be in a ring taking bumps. They thought he could finish the original tour.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like you're saying, then the Office cover reason, listen, New Japan can't say, "Will Ospreay's mad at us, so we're stripping him of the title and we don't know when he's coming back." So their cover reason was his neck. So him putting out an X-ray of a neck, that could be a sign that he isn't that he isn't wanting out of the company because he's going along with the Office cover reason for him not being there.
Right, and that's actually where I'm at right now with this entire story is what I think, judging by what happened last week and what's now happened this week, is almost exactly like you said. Will's thinking, all right, I'll do the Dome, I'll lose to Okada, and then I'm going to go to the UK for a few months, rest up, and I'll be back ready for the rest of the year. I'll be ready for G1 or something like that. You know what I mean? I'll be ready for Wrestle Kingdom next year. Just let me have this, I'll go back, drop the title, and then I'm off. And then that plan was that plan makes sense to me. That's probably the way it was going to go. It lets Will rest up a little bit. It lets Okada get that title. You know what I mean? It's fine. It works out perfectly. Then all this stuff kind of throws it for a loop. Then he's on his way out, saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to rest up or whatever." And they say, "Hey, we need you for these shows." And he's probably like, "Well, fuck, no." Like, I already told my family I'm coming. I've already booked the flight. You know what I mean? Like, once you're in that frame of mind, once you're in the frame of mind that I am going to home and I'm going to go see, people, I'm going to go stay with, X, I'm going to go do, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that not only is that difficult on the wrestler to kind of get in that frame of mind of, you know what? I've been here for a long, long time. It's going to be really good to go back and see these people and yada, yada. But then also, those people in your life that are probably saying, "Oh, great," like, I don't know. I have no idea Will's relationships with any family members or anything like that, but I assume that somebody was looking forward to seeing Will again. You know what I mean? Like, somebody was saying, "Oh, great. Hey, guys, Will's going to," you know what I mean? Like, something like that. I know that if I was in Japan for 8 months and I told my mom, "Hey, I'm going to be able to come home for 2 months," she would probably be very happy. "Oh, cool. Great. Oh, awesome." And then having to call her and say, "Hey, actually, no, never mind. I'm not coming. I have to stay here now." When are you coming again? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe in 8 months again or something. Like that's a lot of. So yeah, I could see the
on
frustration.
top of all of the other frustrations you have with the Office with the miscommunications.
Right. And that's annoying. Like, so now I've told everybody I'm coming. I've been in the frame of mind that I'm coming. Now you're telling me I can't come because I have to do these dumb little Corkin shows that that kind of came out of nowhere. Like you said, it wasn't communicated well to anybody on the roster.
No.
Which is another point of contention where I'm sure even if you're not upset as somebody who thought they were going to leave, the people there are like, "What the fuck? Like, you're not going to tell us you're running these shows until 2 days prior or whatever." So that's annoying from that standpoint too. So that's where I think what happened is last week, and it all kind of blew up with Will just saying, "You know what? Fuck you. Take the stupid title. I'm done. I'm out." And then bouncing and leaving. I feel like with now that he's tweeting it out, now he's showing things of next, now he's talking about his back. I'm determined to make a comeback this year. Thank you for the support. He's been much more vocal this week. I think things have kind of cooled a little bit. And my standpoint is that he's there, and he's not coming back. He's not getting, you know what I mean? But like for right now, he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to rest up, and in 4 or 5 months or whatever, I'll call you guys, and we'll you know.
I think his plan all along was to go home and rest just after the Dome.
Right.
And I think his plan now is still just to go home.
Exactly.
And rest.
Right.
I think the other stuff is just it's always just been speculation from the other people on the roster that he wants out. We've never heard that from him. You know, he's not saying anything like that. I think he just sees it as, I was going home either way. If anything, we know he's not a belt mark. I mean, that's for certain. He seemed not to give a shit about that. He just wanted to go home. He probably had in his mind, okay, I'm hurting, I'm going home, and he was already in that mindset. And when they said, oh, you got to stay, he's like, oh, fuck that. I already had plans to go home and rest up and get this body healed up. So you know what? You know, that's part of it too. Like, I understand your aspect. Oh, I'm going to see all my people, and I've already have England on the brain, but it's also a matter of he probably mentally shut his body down too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and now you're being told you got to work these 4 impromptu shows, and none of them were happy about it. But you know, he's the only one that didn't unpack his bags. You know, the others stayed, but had to, and then 2 of them failed the COVID test when they came back. So it's just a total complete.
Yeah, I think things blew up last week, and everybody was upset, and I think cooler heads have somewhat prevailed. Now, will this be long-term things? Will people always remember this and go, you know what, I don't really have much loyalty to you guys anymore? Like, this was my dream job, but now, you know what, you know, this last year is showing me your true colors. Like, is that going to be a thing? I don't know, maybe. It's very possible that's going to be a thing, and then guys that were loyal before are going to lose their loyalty or remember this or be upset or whatever. That is totally plausible, plausible and possible, but I do think right now things have cooled, at least from last week. I think just my read on the situation is Will being more vocal about it, Will kind of following the company line, Will just kind of saying, yeah, things aren't looking good, my back, my neck are fucked up. All right, so I'll be back later this year, basically. And then
I don't get the sense he ever really wanted out. I just
no, I don't either. I really don't either. I don't. I think he just got annoyed that he thought he was going to leave, and the only option was, well, I stay and keep this title, or I leave. You know, I give you the title and I go home. And they go, yeah, and he goes, all right, here you go. Like, I'm out. Yeah. You know, give it to Okada. You know, have Okada win a fucking tournament or something, man. I'm good. Like, you know, and that's fine. Like, that to me, that if New Japan can accept that, and if he can accept that, and all these people can be all right, then I think this isn't the worst thing in the world anyway. It blew up and it got crazy and all that sort of stuff, but it's not going to be the end of the world. You know what I mean? If at least they welcome him back and he's interested in coming back and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not worried about that. And I don't think he's going to NXT UK or whatever. So
no, that was just all a misunderstanding. But look, we know they were going to let him go home after the Dome, which is why I think he was going to lose the title.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they don't typically run tours without their champion. I mean, it's not impossible that they would have done that, but it just seems awfully convenient that they were going to let him go home after that match. It just seems to me like he would have lost it. But I don't know that for a fact. Maybe he would have beaten Okada. I don't know. So I just want to make it clear that that's just my personal opinion, that he was going to lose that match. But yeah, so we don't really have anything new other than what he's telling people now. And, you know, like Rich is saying, a lot of that stuff could be, the stuff he's putting out there seems to be more in line with what the office,
it follows the company line. Yeah. And that to me is a little bit of a tip off to make me think that cooler heads have prevailed a little bit, because it's very easy to say, nah, my neck's fucking, you know, my neck's fine. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of ways that you can do it that just fly in the face of what the company said.
Yeah. Like if he was annoyed with the office and the issue was deeper than going home to rest, he would dispute what New Japan is telling fans.
Right. He could say something that, you know, hey, my neck might not be great, but I can still work better than anybody in the world. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know, there's
something to let people know that what New Japan is saying isn't the whole story. Instead,
right.
Instead, he's going along with it.
He's lockstep with their story as well.
Yes. So I am not of the belief that he wants out. The roster disagrees with us. They're convinced that this guy wants out. The Japanese side, anyway. You know, it got to the point where the one guy on the roster, one Japanese guy on the roster, was annoyed because the office was telling him, "Stay in your house. You can't even go to the gym." it's that kind of communication stuff where one day it's okay, you can go to the gym. The next day it's okay, no, everyone has to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even go to the gym. Because it's like you get the sense the office changes their minds on policies and things.
And the country does too. Every single
the country's a mess too. Obviously, yeah, you're right.
These Olympics, it's a disaster.
Yeah, and then they just Bushiroad decides, oh no, we're going to run some shows, and then the office people on the ground, the creative and booking people, then they got to put a show together, but then they don't know who they have available because the COVID tests haven't come back yet. And then that's why you have this situation where it's like it all was like last minute, and then you have some of the veteran leaders like complaining, like, what the fuck? It's an absolute shit show. I think these things tend to work themselves out. The feeling is that, the word mutiny didn't come from us. That came from inside the company.
Mm-hmm.
The word mutiny when it was getting thrown around, and unrest and all those things. So, they're convinced that a lot of the foreign talent is, pushed beyond the point of no return, but it is wrestling. And these things do tend to work themselves out.
Yeah, and I just think tensions were probably pretty high. I mean, you got two of the guys sitting there in the fucking dojo that are annoyed and upset. You have Will, the champion, who's annoyed and upset and given the title. I think just everything just kind of came at the same time, but I think over the time, it to me, at least my read on it is things didn't get worse over this last week. It felt like things kind of calmed down over the last week. So,
yeah, that's true. It didn't. You're right. It didn't. There's not building tensions. It's kind of like,
I think we've all kind of been there. I think we've all been in workplaces where you're like, you know what, fuck it. We should all fucking quit. Fuck this place. You know what I mean? Yeah. You go after your shift and everyone's at the bar drinking, like, fuck that guy. Like, let's leave, like I could get another job. Fuck that guy. And then you wake up the next day and you're at the job and you go, well, whatever. It's fine. I'm going to look for other jobs, but I'm not, we don't have to quit today. It's fine. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
what you do in the moment is.
And you're in a foreign country that is like the epicenter of the worst
fucking
COVID
disaster.
Right now.
Yeah.
So there's that added too. I mean, they have guys, there's people like Nagata and Kojima coming over here so they can get the fucking vax.
Oh, Joe, no, they're coming on learning excursions. Are you kidding?
You think Kojima
Nagata just popped up into a new pair? You know what I do want to do is see how Uminu's doing over there in America. So
you think Kojima's all worked up to work against Madman Fulton? He's
got Josh Alexander coming up at the pay-per-view, sir. You show some fucking respect.
Match?
That is the match, yeah. Got announced as we were recording this.
Wow.
I'm into that. Yeah, that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Josh was like, God, I think, let me make sure that's the actual, oh, no, sorry. So Satoshi Kojima versus Joe Doring is the match.
Oh, well, that's a lot different, Rich.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I got Josh Alexander in my mind.
I mean,
I'm doing the show. It's hard to read things to get in the show. Okay. Don't message us. We know. We got it.
If this were Joe Doring 2017 or something.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a much less exciting match. So.
So.
I gotta imagine Josh is probably asking somebody. Maybe in my head, I was just thinking that Josh Alexander's like, can I please face Kojima? Maybe they'll do that. So.
Got me all hyped up.
Yeah. No, I'd like to believe that Yuji Nagata just traveled to America, just to check on Ren Narita and see how he's doing. Just for no other reason that all the older men in New Japan Pro Wrestling just decided to come to America. I don't know, right around May 2021, just for just to tighten up their game a little bit. So.
Well, I mean, they have to send them home now. Isn't the state of emergency just getting worse? I don't really pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's anyway, no real update on that. But I want to find out how that meeting went at Korakuen. I haven't really heard anything about that. That was on the 24th, I think. Try to settle everybody down. But I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it went well. Maybe it went well enough because that might. Yeah, who knows? We'll see. I'm sure this will be an ongoing saga. So New Japan's back, I guess, kind of. So. I don't think they have no clue what they're doing with this title. No things announced. The dates are all wrong on the website. It's a fucking disaster. So
yeah, they
don't know what's going on, and they don't know who they have and when they can run shows and how they can run shows and where they can run shows. So We'll see. But thankfully, one company is running shows that we've been watching here. Dragongate. We'll conclude the show here with Dragongate. King of Gate. The tournament, as I said, wraps up on June 3rd. We got a few shows coming up in the... we've watched most of the shows that have made tape so far. I've seen just about everything. I think you have seen everything that has made tape so far on King of Gate. So I don't know. How do you want to do this like we did last time, where I kind of go over the blocks and you can tell me who stood out or who you've liked or whatever, or do you have any other kind of big picture thoughts?
Well, we left off on we talked about everything through the 16th. The show on the 19th didn't make tape, and then they went up to Sapporo for a bunch of shows up there, which I think is sort of out of the brunt of the COVID mess, because that's way up north on that North Island.
Yeah, so, I don't know exactly. I don't know what, but I think it's better because it seemed to at least have a little bit of a crowd and stuff. So
they had like 200 fans a night, but it was very dire looking in terms of atmosphere. And the two shows that I saw from Sapporo, the effort levels were not good, with the exception of they worked hard in the main events.
Mm-hmm.
The first night was Jason Lee and KZ, and that was a pretty good match. I'd say 3.5 range. But the underneath stuff was clearly they didn't have their working shoes on. The next night on the 22nd was the night where Kyo Watanabe and Yamato did the 2-minute double count.
Yeah.
They just had no interest in working. I mean, they did like a 3-minute double count out or whatever it was.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 35 seconds. But yeah, they're basically brawling on the outside. Then they go 19, 20, ding, 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 ding. And the Yamato goes, oh, damn it. It's just like,
yeah,
so bad. Yeah, and it was like, oh, all right.
So the main event, though, was Susumu, Yokozuka, and Dragon Kid. And again, the main events, everybody worked pretty hard, and the matches were pretty decent. But the underneath stuff was like, okay, there's nobody here. The atmosphere stinks, and it definitely affected how hard everybody worked. I didn't see the third show from Sapporo on the 23rd yet. That had Shun Skywalker and Okuda, which I definitely am looking forward to, and KZ versus Eita in the main event.
Yeah, so I did see that. Both those matches are good. I think you'll enjoy both of those. I think Okuda and Skywalker was really, really good. And KZ and Eita, I like KZ a lot. And we're an Eita, a pro Eita podcast, so I think you'll like that one too. I think both of those matches were pretty good. And then the other King of Gate match didn't happen because Naruki Doi was in it. So,
all right. Yeah,
sacrifice. He's not wrestling in the tournament, so I just skipped. I will say I just skipped to the King of Gate matches on that last show. So I don't know how any of the tags were, but I've heard that the tags are.
I'm not wasting time with that either.
No.
They got too much stuff to watch. And then I think the next two shows, as far as I know, are not airing, or at least haven't aired yet. So can't really talk about those. I see an interesting result on the 24th though. Dragon Kid and Jason Lee double fall at 12:04.
Double fall, okay.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah, they clothesline each other and then both land with their arms on each other. Yeah, and then go with the 1, 2, 3. I don't know. That's
yeah. So I don't know what's
I'm kind of interested in that UT versus Hyo Watanabe match of like the disappointing, youngsters showcase match here with UT and Hyo. But yeah, that does not look like a very good show. So maybe it's better that one doesn't air. So.
Hey, did you see Yamato eat it on his ring entrance the other night? That was
incredible, yeah.
He's like Mr. Cool.
Oh,
like
the most cool, calm, collected guy ever. Slowly wipes the hair away from his eyes because he's just the coolest motherfucker in the universe. And then
and he slips off the apron and eats it.
Just fucking face first. It's
Yamato of all people. It's so funny. And then, he played it cool, though. He just got up and got right back in the ring and did his little hair gimmick with his fingers. He's unflappable, this Yamato. He faced Ashita on the 25th again. I don't think that's going to air, or at least didn't air yet. But what do these standings look like now? You got these standings?
Yeah, I do. So here are the standings as of this recording on May 27th here. Your A block, Kota Minoura, still very, very far ahead. I think mathematically, let me make sure. I think mathematically he is close.
He might have wrapped it up, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I don't think there's any other matches that people could, which is I think what they were trying to go with anyway. But it just kind of happened a little bit easier. He's done. Yeah, he's done. So that's it. So he's definitely in there. So yeah, your A block is Kota Minoura wins it with 10 points. BB Hulk with 6, Diamante with 6, Yoshida with 6, Naruki Doi with 2, and Benkei with 0. So yeah,
so none of those guys have 2 matches left where they can tie.
They have 0 matches left. I think because of the forfeits, you can pretty much just go right down the list there and figure that out. So I don't know if that's the official number, but we know that they're going to forfeit the rest of the way. So yeah, that is your.
I don't think he would. I think Benkei would have won the block if he were healthy. So they that's the block. We talked about that last week. That block got screwed up. The B block is very tight. Everyone's
B block, this one is booked kind of how you would probably want to book it. Both the B and the C block make a lot of sense. Like the numbers on the A block make no sense whatsoever because one guy won a match and then 2 guys had to forfeit everything and then anyway, B block is Dragon Kid at 5 points, Jason Lee at 5 points, SB Kento at 4, Susumu at 4, KZ at 4, Eita at 4. So that is still completely up in the open for everybody. Eita's got Susumu left. SB Kento has KZ left. Dragon Kid is done, though. So Dragon Kid at 5 points, he is done. So I think he would, it'd be a tough go for old Dragon Kid to make it through here. KZ has SB Kento left. And as I said, Eita, or Susumu has Eita left. So definitely
Dragon Kid's basically eliminated unless everyone has no contest.
Unless everybody gets no contest or even I don't even think it's got to be straight up no contest because Jason Lee can't even go to a double pin. So Jason Lee and Dragon Kid are done. Those guys are both done at 5 points.
And they have no more matches?
So those other guys either have to get double pins or something, it has to be something weird.
Yeah, because everyone else has 4, so someone has to win at least one match.
Right, exactly. Unless there's a bunch of double count outs and stuff.
They're not going to do that.
I don't think they're going to do that, yeah. So one of those guys is going to go through. But there's some interesting matches there. I think SB Kento versus KZ is definitely an interesting one there. Eita versus Susumu sounds pretty cool too. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then your C block, a few more matches left on that one too. Yamato with 7, Shun Skywalker with 6, Kaito Ishida with 4, UT with 4, Keisuke Okuda 3, and then Hyo at 0. So as far as things left, UT, nothing more left for him. He's already at 4 points. He already cannot win, and that's fine. You didn't want UT to win that anyway. Hyo has 0 points. He has a match left with Shun Skywalker. I would assume that he's probably not winning that, but
so Skywalker's going to 8 for sure.
I think he's probably going to beat Hyo and move to 8. So then
who was Yamato's last match?
So Yamato has nobody left anymore. So that might be why they did the double count out with Hyo. And they did a draw with Okuda as well. So they tried to get
Yamato, him. Yes, because Yamato beat Skywalker.
Right. So to break that tie, they had to have him get 1 point somewhere along the line. So that's where,
all right, so that's an easy block. Skywalker's going to beat.
I think so, yeah. Okuda's got Ishida, but Okuda, he can't do it anyway because he's at 3. Yeah, so he's out. And Ishida, who's got 4 points, he has Okuda, but again, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to pass those guys. So it's down to Yamato and Shun. So if Shun gets a pinfall over the guy who has 0, he wins it. So
yeah, there's no way he's losing to Hyo. So the block comes down to that match, and there's like no drama because it's a guy he's definitely going to beat. So B block has all the drama.
Yeah, B block's probably the only one that has any amount of, or really it is the only one that has any amount of drama because that's completely winnable by SB Kento, Susumu, KZ, and Eita. And I think realistically, of those guys, like I could totally buy SB Kento, I can totally buy KZ, and I can totally buy Eita. Winning that. So that's what's cool. I mean, and hell, you could do it with Susumu if you really wanted to.
Susumu could win it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So there's 4 guys in that block that all could definitely win it and be justified in winning it. So that's
they cool. All have 1 match left. Is that what you said?
Yes. SB Kento has KZ, SB Kento. And Susumu has Eita. Yeah. So there you go.
So those 2 matches, SB Kento versus KZ and Susumu versus Eita. Now what'll happen is 2 of those guys will win, and then I guess one of them will win. Oh, but there's 3 blocks. So I don't know the rules as far as does a 4th person advance and all that. That I don't know. But in terms of winning the block, no one can win it outright unless there's another draw.
Well, they do. I think what they do, and I guess open the voice gates. Michael Spears and Case Lowe can correct it. I believe they're doing what they did last year where the final semifinal spot, so the 3 guys will all come in. So Kota Minoura, whoever wins from the B block, and then Shun Skywalker, presumably from the C block, all come in. And then everybody that got eliminated, they do a battle royal. And then the person who wins that battle royal moves up and is the final semifinal spot.
Okay.
So that's going to get them there 4.
We're being told in the chat that Hyo is doing double countouts on purpose to screw people. So that's where the drama will come in with Skywalker. But I think Skywalker's just going to beat him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think that. Yeah, I think that will create a little bit of drama. And
some 17, some 19 count slide-ins and stuff like that. And then I think he's just going to beat him though.
Yeah, I think he'll just beat him. Because why do you need Yamato to win the block? If Yamato beats Skywalker, right? I'm not imagining that. So
yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes.
So why you don't need Yamato to win the block, because he already has that win over Skywalker, and you can do a title match off of that. So I think Skywalker will just beat Hyo, and Yamato's already set for something with Skywalker because he beat him. You see what I'm saying? Yamato doesn't need to win the block. So that's why, I think he'll just beat that guy and win the block with 8. Skywalker will. So, all right. So that's Dragon Gate. It should be all wrapped up by the next time, because it ends on the last show is the 2nd, right?
Yeah, for a week from now. So actually, on this show, if depending on when it makes tape or when it gets on Dragon Gate Live, the last show is going to be on the 3rd. So we'll be able to hopefully react to it next week. So.
Oh, okay, the 3rd. I thought.
So that's exactly a week from now. So yeah,
it doesn't matter. Yes, either way, we can still do it.
Yeah, which is good. So
as long as we watch it quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, or if it goes up that morning or whatever, hopefully it does. So anyway, that's it. So that's King of Gate, that's Dragon Gate, and that's our show here. So anyway, Double or Nothing, Instant Reaction Live, immediately following Double or Nothing on Sunday night. It's a Sunday night pay-per-view again. Patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling, $10 tier to listen to that. As Joe has said, and he always tries to say, this is our only time that we are going to go match by match on this show. We might talk big picture stuff next week. We might, kind of react to some parts of it, but if you want match by match breakdowns, ratings, all of our review of Double or Nothing, you're going to get that immediately following the show on Sunday. $10 tier, patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. That also gives you everything we do on patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling too, which is an ungodly amount of content this month, including the Will exclusive news that we had, the retro shows we had. I've been doing the WrestleMania randomizer. I got an audio doc about IWGP world title vacancies coming up in the next few days as well. You're going to get all that stuff for the $10 tier. So it unlocks everything we do, plus the instant reaction shows. So definitely a good value for you there. But yeah, we'll do it immediately following Double or Nothing. We'll react to the show. And then, that's it for us. So anyway, for Joe Lanza, I'm Rich Craich. We'll talk to you next time on the Voice of Wrestling Flagship Podcast. Take care.
Introducing Guinness Nitro Cold Brew Coffee Beer. Blending the smooth, creamy nitro taste of Guinness with hints of coffee, chocolate, and caramel. Guinness Nitro Cold Brew Coffee Beer, your new favorite part of the day. Look for it where Guinness is sold. Must be 21 and over to purchase. Please enjoy responsibly. Diageo Beer Company, New York, New York.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough, and the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.